We want to shine the light on things that are happening that bring a little bit of justice back to the world and expose just a little bit more what some of these people are doing. So Tiffany Henyard is the notorious super mayor of Dolton, Illinois. The day of the election, we covered the drama in the town, and she lost in a landslide. Yep. And thank God, because she's such a good manipulator that I almost wondered if I had gotten everything wrong about her. I started to wonder, like, is this lady the next Mother Teresa? She lives basically a first-class, lavish lifestyle off of her taxpayer. Her city was in a $4 million surplus before she took office, and now it's in a $4 million deficit. And so she just is this criminal cult leader that ran a town.
Deb, did you see his Scientology videos?
Basically.
Kids are born into it, forced to work dozens of hours a week for free, treated like absolute crap, separated from their parents. They're so good at controlling people that if one person escapes to say something, they have 20 members that they've already prepared their story.
Oh, yeah. They're the real scam. You're built different.
You were doing things that definitely deserve hard questions.
You show people how to scam.
Is to prevent somebody else from getting scammed.
There's so much going on there. Hey guys, if you're not subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and hit that like button on the video. And if you don't have time to watch this episode right now, no problem, but I'd really appreciate it if you would save it to your watch later playlist. Finally, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram and X, those links are in my description below. Thank you. So you found Jesus?
Yes, I did.
Is that what I'm hearing?
I've been found him.
Where'd you find him?
When I was born.
When you were born?
Yeah.
So you were believing in Jesus like when you were in high school and everything?
Yeah, 100%.
Punchmade Dev finding Christianity and Catholicism is the headline that we didn't expect of this year.
No, when I think of like some of the things that you do, I don't necessarily like associate that with Jesus, but I mean, maybe you can convince me today.
We all sin.
We do all sin.
Yeah.
But you kind of like knowingly do it.
Yeah, that don't make it any different from anybody doing it behind closed doors. At least I'm honest.
Yeah, but like, do you go to confession and say you're not going to do it again?
Nah, I just say help me find another way.
Help you find another way.
Yeah.
You call them Father?
Huh?
You call the guy Father?
Yeah, Heavenly Father. Yeah.
Can you turn that mic to you just like a little bit?
Bad.
Like tilt it. You're good.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, I can hear myself.
You're good now. So you go into confession and you're like, just help me find another way to make money. And at some point, Jesus will show you another way.
Yeah, or maybe he'll just take it all away from me and then I got to figure it out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you're open to being knocked down a peg.
Yeah, it's happened a couple times.
How recently?
No, not recent at all.
You're good now.
Yeah, I'm good now.
You know what you're doing.
Probably like right after high school. I haven't been, I'm good now.
Okay. All right, we'll get into it today because this was Tommy's idea. He's like, you got to talk to Punchmade Dev. Talk about scamming.
Let's do it.
Did a bunch of videos back in the day. Tommy, welcome back. As always, brother. It's good to have you.
Good to see you.
What are you doing in town?
We're doing a profile piece on the New York drivers again. And when I realized because you got to ask yourself sometimes why do a sequel? It's only if you think you can make it better than the first one. And I realized there's so much of the driving world we didn't get into, from the chop shops to the rental car places, how these guys are getting their hands on different high-level vehicles on a regular basis. Yep. Last night, about 1 a.m. in a hospital parking lot, we were talking to some strikers that had a smashed-in windshield of a Hellcat, and they were explaining their process. And I think they're filming missions, and we'll see if we get that footage. But I'm always fascinated by the driving outlaws of New York, and we went about. Well, you went faster than I did because you were in New York recently. But
yeah.
Oh, you were driving with them.
They went about 120 miles an hour weaving through. He said, because I said, I don't want to do this. I have a family back home. This is too much. He said, 1 minute on the clock. I'm like, okay, I can handle 1 minute. I did maybe 3-4 minutes before. I was just like, okay, I got the idea. But it's like moving through the Matrix with these guys.
Yeah, it feels like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But I like it, though.
You like it?
Yeah.
You're into the thrills for sure.
He does not get scared in the car.
No,
I'm the guy that's kind of clenching a little bit, and I'm like, okay. Like I feel my legs flexing against
you in Inbox.
I wasn't as bad as Inbox.
Yeah. Inbox is a whiner.
He was a whiner, yeah. Your video with License, who's one of the drivers we were profiling.
License? He wasn't here with me.
No.
Right?
He's a new one that emerged from the Squeeze team.
When's the last time you did one?
I did one with them. We recorded. That was wild. We recorded that at the end of September. I put it out like a month later.
Oh, with the squeeze team?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like
He
a
did it with the
Saturday.
swim team. The swim
The
team.
swim
The
team.
swim
Oh,
team,
okay.
not Squeeze.
They're kind of rival, so that's like Bloods and Crips, dude.
Yeah, Squeeze is the one above. Swim
Bro.
team's number 2, and then Squeeze number 1.
Bro, when I brought up Squeeze, you could hear a pin drop in here. They just all looked at me like behind their masks and everything. I was like, okay, all right, we won't.
It's because he's the best driver. Him, license, everybody in Squeeze.
Daddy, don't forget Daddy Money.
Oh yeah, Didi Money.
And we're talking about Squeeze Benz for people out there. He went pretty viral last year on streaming and everything with that, with some of the driving he did. Is he still locked up, or like what's the deal?
Nah, he's been out.
He's been out.
Yeah, he's out.
So he's back doing his thing.
Yeah, I don't think he ever got locked up.
His team likes to have a little shadow of mystery. It's not
Okay.
quite clear exactly how that story's developed. Some
He's
people
living
say
good. He's out.
he's incarcerated. Other people say he's just laying low. And
Yeah, he's just laying low right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting guy. I mean, there's something like when I talk with those guys, what was so, and now I'm talking about the swim team guys, because obviously they do the same thing. What's so interesting to me is that outside of the driving, they're the most normal, relaxed, laid-back dudes. Like, a lot of them don't even drink or smoke or anything. Like, they don't do anything
Yeah, a lot
else.
of them don't drink or smoke. I wouldn't say the most laid back, but yeah, they don't drink or smoke.
But the ones that were in here, we had like 5
Oh,
of
the
them
swim
in here.
team. Okay, yeah, I don't know.
No, I'm not going to talk about the Squeeze guys. I can't speak to that. But the swim guys are so laid back.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you do this like one thing that's kind of crazy. I mean, they're incredible drivers. I will give them that. Like, when you watch these videos, they are unbelievable drivers, but they're still doing it on roads with little old ladies driving.
Yeah,
You know
all
what I
it
mean?
takes is just one lady
Yep.
not looking, and it's over with.
Yeah.
and at
That'd
that
be
speed, even one little glancing off someone's car, that could be
Sheesh.
going out, getting hit by a flatbed.
Or
you know,
a big ass pothole.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I thought that was some of your best work, that video. Obviously, it was like the biggest video you ever did, and you were filming that when we first met. But I thought, like, from the perspective of the questions you asked them, the moral quandaries you kind of went back and forth with, it was so well done because, you know, on one hand, it's amazing they've never crashed. And on the other hand, it's like it's
That's
just a matter
part
of
of the
time.
conspiracy.
Yeah, they might have crashed and not said nothing.
That's what
I
we
heard
covered.
the swim team be crashing and not saying nothing.
I'm not calling out the swim
From
team
who?
in particular,
I don't know.
but that was part of the conspiracy that we covered in this part too, is that crashes have been covered up because there are impressionable people on the internet watching that think I could go do this right now, not knowing that there's a lot of crashes, a lot of people can get hurt, and that actually within the New York driving community, they were doxing each other. So if I exposed your crash, you would dox my address and tell. So it was getting pretty
Exposing
serious.
crashes?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like career ending, huh?
There's apparently a guy. There's a guy that Squeeze Ben's filmed with a lot that goes by Sean, and he called me to let me know that there's some serious doxing going on. But then I found out this guy might dox people too, so I don't know. It's a lot of unusual shiesty.
Yeah,
Pointing to the
doxing.
shiesty mask.
Doxing's
going on.
f***ed up.
Yeah, I'm not on the doxing stuff, but that's interesting that there's been crashes because you would think you would hear about that, seeing the speeds that they're going at. It's I would imagine, at least statistically, some of these crashes got to be happening where they're decelerating to like 120, and you would think that would be like news because that means they're going like 180 or 160 or whatever it is. But I haven't heard anything like that. It might be time to get them back in here though. Talk about it.
They must be getting away from the scene because don't you think if you were a newscaster and there was a big YouTube driver that was showing driving, kind of promoting it, and it happened, you want to call it out right away. So I don't know where the stories have gone or how they got hushed up exactly, but it's not surprising that people are crashing when they're moving like that. I mean, there was a few times where they were going with cars that were parallel to each other and still finding the gap in between
Yeah.
at a very high rate of speed that made me
It's scary.
uncomfortable.
It's scary. So who approached you to do the follow up?
I saw this kid License coming out of nowhere and just doing incredible things, and I saw your video with License, and
Tommy's just scouting all the drivers like he looks good. He's next.
and I knew that there was so much more because if you really look, I'm not that proud of the piece. I thought the questions were good, but as far as what we could have got into, most of it was almost like a podcast in a car, but we didn't get to really see the chop shops that they're going to. How are they getting a Lamborghini today, a BMW tomorrow? How are they even having access to this? So getting more of the behind the scenes structure, that to me was the intriguing part. And once I knew I had the context to bring me in, let's giddy up.
How have they been with you going back and forth on asking them about some of the crash cover ups and stuff like that?
They were open about it.
They were open about it.
Mm-hmm.
What'd they say?
there is cover-ups, and that I think we should be open with it, because I think License, one of the things he did was he posted his own crash. I think he's had one crash, and he posted it and took it like a man.
Interesting.
Which I think is that's like being a UFC fighter.
It wasn't his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It wasn't his fault?
Nah, he was driving. Somebody rammed into him, and he was blind in his eye. The other person that was driving.
Oh, it was a blind person.
And he wasn't even supposed to be driving with him anyway.
A blind person was driving, dude.
He's blind on one side, so it wasn't even his fault. License is a good driver. I sleep in the car when he cuts
You
up.
sleep in the car with
I
him.
swear to God, yeah.
You're built different.
He's good.
Yeah.
I
When
trust him.
when did you first meet him?
Maybe like 2 months ago when we first did our video. Yeah.
What was your video?
We got chased by
You
the
got
police.
chased?
Yeah.
All right, please do tell.
Yeah. So we was at a Home Depot, and then we thought it was a
That's
cop
how
car.
it starts, man. Home
Yeah,
Depot.
the Home Depot. We thought it was a cop car that pulled up, and then we did the whole. We thought it was the police and everything. We got away, and then like a month later, like some other YouTuber was in a fake cop car chasing us. Yeah.
It was a YouTuber.
Yeah, it was a YouTuber, but we had no clue.
Who's that?
I think his name's Sean. The one you're
That's
talking
Sean
about.
Sean?
Yeah.
That's the same
I
guy?
think so.
So he had intel that you guys were gonna be there or something.
I guess
That
he
sounds
put
like
an
an
air
inside
tag in
job
somebody's
to me.
car or something. Yeah.
This is a kind of a building 7 of the car community.
That didn't take long. Jesus Christ. But I look at you though, Devin. I'm like, how are you not in jail? Not for the car stuff.
Yeah.
But for everything else, because here's this guy who you go out there, you show people how to scam, you teach courses on how to scam.
Yeah, but
okay, yeah, but
if you've seen Tommy G's video, the reason I was teaching it and everything is to prevent somebody else from getting scammed.
It was a community service kind of.
Yeah, I'm a
Right.
fraud prevention
you're a
type of
fraud
guy.
prevention guy.
Yeah.
But you were a fraud, not prevention guy to start off.
Maybe possibly a super long time ago, before I was
Okay.
even Punchmade Dev.
Before you were Punchmade Dev.
Yeah.
What were you then? Just Dev?
Yeah, just Dev.
Just Dev.
Yeah.
All right. So in all seriousness, like how, without revealing, I guess, incriminating exact details or anything, like approximately how old were you when you were like, ooh, this internet thing, I can scam some people?
Well, what type of scamming? Because there's like, or just in general. Because there's
Let's
petty.
go in
there's like-
general, but go as
Okay.
broad as you want.
So when I was super young, I was doing just petty stuff. Like, I'll give you this if you give me that. And then I just won't give him nothing. That was like when I was on 2K. So I was like selling like 2K accounts.
Oh, you were selling 2K accounts.
Yeah, that had like 99 overalls and like all the badges and stuff. And,
So you're like,
ranked up.
Venmo me $100 and I'll give you my whatever.
I'll give you this account with, and then just run off.
Did you get a rush from that?
Maybe, I don't know. It was a long time ago. I was like 16.
Okay.
And then when the PS5s came out, I seen people was fake selling PS5s. So I think people were doing that too around that time. And then...
Wait, how'd you do this? So how did you fake sell PS5s, allegedly?
I
Hypothetically.
mean, you would just post it on Twitter and then be like, all right, I'm going to give one away. And then have a whole bunch of people retweet it. And then people would hit you up and be like, do you have any more? And I'm like, yeah, I got it for 400, 500.
And you got to send me the money first.
Yeah, and I'll ship it out.
in Bitcoin, right?
Actually, nah, back in the day, it wasn't Bitcoin. It was Cash App. That's when I still was able to use Cash App. Cash App's burnt now, though.
It's burnt? How's it burnt?
It's burnt as in just trying to receive a bunch of payments from multiple people. You can still do stuff on Cash App. You can still make money for sure. Like, you can do transfers and stuff on there, but yeah.
The IRS is tracking it, basically.
Yeah, but just pay your taxes and you're good. I pay all my taxes on every single dollar I make.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's
I just
something
pay my
law-abiding
taxes,
in
yeah.
you.
No, he's a contributing member of society.
That's
Yeah,
so
I pay a lot in
fascinating.
taxes.
The
this
reason
year.
your roads are paved outside of the studio are because of Punchmade Dove.
Yeah, I'm Robin Hood.
I'm Robin. Define Robin Hood.
Somebody
you.
who, what did we say in the video? That takes from the rich and gives to the poor? Yeah, that's me.
I think
When
you
you
even
say
said you
give to
take
the
from
poor.
the poor and I'm rich. That's me.
Yeah, I think that was it. So you start with basic stuff, and then when you're doing the PS5 thing, by the way, did you at least hit them with the, well, you got to pay me half now and half comes later, so they feel like there's something on the other end? Or you
Nah,
just said,
it's-
I need it all up front,
It's all up front. Or somebody else going to buy it.
and they would just do it? What do you think makes people just trust like that?
Well, it was when they first came out, so I feel like people are just thirsty. They're like, okay, he has a PS5, I need this. So yeah, just take the risk.
But did anyone like know who you were? Or were you just behind like?
Nah,
a
I
bank
was just
account?
Yeah.
What was your profile picture with this account? Was it like a bunny or like a fake, like an animal? Or
Probably
was it
like a stack of money or some PS5s.
trustworthy.
Yeah.
Because I kind of wonder, like, if people could, like, if it happens to enough, even back then, if it happens to enough people, if people get in touch, like, oh, is this guy or whatever, and then they could corner you or, like, report you. And
Class
obviously
action.
they never did.
No, but if they do report you, it's like, I don't know. I think I seen something, and only like 8% people who do like scams and fraud get caught.
I believe that.
It's kind of
yeah.
difficult to trace them down. These fraudsters. I mean, hopefully they catch them all though.
Oh, you want them to be all
Yeah,
caught.
I'm the fraud prevention guy. That's
Because
fucked
now
up.
you're out of the game.
Yeah, I've been out the game. I was in the game when I was like a teenager, when I was a minor.
Now, when you say you're out of the game, is that kind of like when a mob boss says he's out of the game because he's out of jail, but he's kind of still meeting with people at the back of the restaurant with a cigar? You know,
Nah,
still
you're the
dipping
mob
the
guys.
toe in.
Mafia, you're the mob boss.
You, Alessi. I've never done that.
He's mafia.
I walked into that. So you're out. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I never really was in, but yeah.
But you just said you were in.
No, I said I was
just
doing
said-
petty stuff.
But that's
That's not really scamming. Like, okay, that is scamming, all right. But I
Yeah.
wasn't doing fraud or nothing.
Define fraud.
Fraud is like bank fraud, wire fraud. It's crazy stuff. I would never do something like that.
You never do that.
Too much.
Would you know how to do that if you needed to?
Yeah, I would know how.
So you could
I
teach-
only know how to teach people how to
teach
avoid
people.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like a teacher in the worst way where it's like, well, you haven't done it before, but you can just show people how to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, Tommy G gave me a good platform with the video, and I got to use it for good. Teach people how to not get,
Were those actually reenactments on there?
Yeah, everything was reenacted.
He paused.
everything. We would never do real crimes and show somebody's face. You see,
That's true. Those banks looked really real, though, man. I got to tell you.
Yeah, they got good pure spaces that you can rent
Pure
out.
spaces?
Yeah, you can rent out banks and
You made it look like a bank in there.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're out of the game.
Have you ever scammed?
No, never.
Never done anything?
Never.
So what's the worst thing you ever did?
The worst thing I ever did.
You definitely stole something
I don't think
before.
anyone's ever asked me that before.
And if Massage listening, this would be a good time to answer.
Yeah,
the question.
I actually have to think about that. What's the worst thing I ever did? I've not stolen anything before.
There's
as
no
far as I
way.
know.
You as a kid, you definitely snuck some in your pocket.
I've been in the presence of. You're talking about like from stores?
Yeah,
or
just
something
like
that?
I know you stole something before, like when you was a kid or something, just slipped in your
From a
pocket.
store?
Or anybody, anything.
From other people, I'm sure I did as a kid.
Would you steal?
I can't remember, but I'm sure I did. But like from a store, never done that. Now I've been there when my friends do it.
And they break you off?
That's no. Usually it's like just getting food or something. It's stupid. I was like, what the f are you doing? Like I'd be the one driving the car. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you're gonna get arrested for $20. Thanks. But nothing like that. No.
Okay.
I never like walked into a store and did anything like that. I was a good boy.
Would you say there was a
Okay.
strong internal voice that said, I'm not going to do that"?
I'm one of those guys, like I'm such a believer in karma, which obviously doesn't mean like I don't still make mistakes and stuff, but I'm like the dude that like, when you'll throw a wrapper away after you're done with it and you'll get it in the trash can, and as you're on the street and you continue to turn and you realize the wrapper went in there, but the one little piece on the edge like fell out and went to the back, I'll take like 2 steps and be like, I gotta put that in the trash, just because it's like there's little like OCD karma things for me there.
Yeah, I feel like that too sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
That's why you help people prevent fraud now.
Yeah.
Try
Always, not now. Always have.
Always
From
have.
the beginning, yeah.
So like when you were 16, what were you doing to help people not do fraud?
Teaching them a lesson. You can't trust everybody. Lesson learned. I don't do that no more. I do good business with everybody.
Did you ever have the cops reach out to you or anyone reach out to you and say we're investigating you?
People pretend to be cops and message me. They try to blackmail me. They'd be like, yeah, send 10,000 to this Bitcoin wallet, or we're investigating, just some like that. We're investigating you. We will get you arrested or something.
And you're like, I know this game better than you, pal.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I don't do nothing. Come arrest me then. I would have been arrested if I was actually doing
That's what I'm
crime.
saying. You
Yeah.
got you got more ice on you than the entire net worth of this room. So you're doing okay.
Yeah.
That is real, right?
No.
That's not real?
It's Chuck E. Cheese jewelry.
It's Chuck E. Cheese jewelry?
Yeah, I got one out of a machine.
You did.
Mhm.
That doesn't look like it's out of a machine.
Looks good.
It looks good.
Appreciate it.
Do we have the diamond tester?
Let's
to do
get
that?
it.
You tested that before, I think, right? You never tested it?
I called my guy. Did I call Johnny Daniel? No, I called
Tracks NYC.
Tracks NYC. Shout out Tracks NYC. I called him and his guy said it looks real.
Looks real.
Looks
we
real.
still got to get the tester, huh?
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe we can do that later.
we should.
It does look real. Like, I mean, not that I would like be the best guy to judge that, but
We got some jewelry.
that's blinging. Yeah, I've had this since I was like,
Is that a pendant too?
yeah, it's a pendant.
Oh, I can't see because the mic. Okay, that's nice.
Yeah, just basic ass family
is it?
saint. Saint Anthony, family name.
Okay.
What has he
That's
done
that.
for you?
You find shit, man, when it's lost. Apparently, that's what they tell me. But my great grandfather's name was Anthony, and then my dad's middle name is Anthony. So that's really that. But I don't have anything like that. That's
We got to get you a Punchmade chain.
yeah, that's a Punchmade chain.
Mm-hmm.
You got your own brand now.
Yeah.
How have
Punchmade
I
there.
not gotten a Punchmade
Yeah,
chain
you-
at this point?
You do need a Punchmade chain, huh?
Yeah. But I got to ask you, like, how walking around, you're a very visible person. Like,
Yes.
Brandon Buckingham was with him recently. He said, I've never seen anyone get recognized so much as when I'm with Punchmade Dev. How do you handle that from a security standpoint? Having, I don't know
Well-
if that's worth $0 or $1 million, but or somewhere in between, but how do you handle that?
I mean, you just gotta know how you're moving. I'm everywhere else other than this state. I have my concealed carry, so I'm not really too worried. But here, somebody else around me will have something that'll protect everybody if needed.
But you're a very calculated, mindful person, so you always know how to approach an
Yeah.
environment and have kind of the trump card.
Definitely. Just gotta know your area, know where you're going, know who you're with, know what they know.
So you do have a
That'd be good.
concealed carry, though. You said
Yeah, I got 3 of them:
you got 3 of them.
Florida, Kentucky, and Illinois.
No.
Yeah.
How does that work? Like, if you go, hold on, Florida's obviously way out there. So if you go from Illinois to Florida, you have to like register ahead of time your weapon
Nah.
that you're bringing it. How does
I
it
mean,
work?
the states, they have it. I mean, really the only states that is annoying is like the ones around here up north in Cali. But like all the ones in the middle, I'm pretty sure if you just like put it in the trunk and unload it, then you'll be good. I mean, if you're just passing through, then you're good. You should be for the most part. But I got arrested in Chicago.
You got
Yeah, for having a fire. It was before I had the Illinois concealed carry, and I was passing through, and I had my Kentucky one, and it just didn't care.
And isn't that like a felony charge though?
Yeah, no, but it got all dismissed.
It got dismissed.
Because I had my Kentucky concealed carry, and I told them I was peacefully passing. There's a law called peacefully passing that I already
They're
knew
like,
about.
nothing to see here, kids. We're good.
Yeah, I already knew about. But they came to the car with the guns drawn and everything.
Oh, they were drawn.
Yeah, they already drawn. And then he was like,
How do
Yeah.
they know you had a gun?
he didn't. And he just assumed.
So you fit the profile of the
yeah.
usual suspects?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why. Now
So
I know.
he told me to roll down the window, and he was screaming, put your hands on the steering wheel. And then he was like, do you do drugs? I was like, no. He's like, so you don't smoke? There's no weed or anything here? I was like, no. He's like, do you drink? I was like, no. He's like, do you have a gun? And then before I could even answer, he just said, step out the vehicle. He reached in, unlocked my door, and then started pulling me out. And then they were searching, and they found the gun. And I told them I had my concealed carry, and it was on the dashboard, and they're acting like they couldn't find it. And then they seen it. And then the other cop was like, all right, well, should we let him go now? And he was like, no.
So they brought
And then-
you in, but they
yeah.
later dismissed it.
And then he was like, yeah, they dismissed it. And he was taunting me. He was like, oh, you're a black disciple, huh? You're a BD, huh? Yeah. I
A
was like,
black
I'm not
disciple.
Yeah, I'm not even from Chicago. You're an idiot. I'm from Kentucky.
I don't even know what a black disciple is.
Have you never listened to the Chief Keef song? I'm beady on Lamrod.
I mean, I've probably heard it, but I never got the context.
Talking at the barbershop. Chief Keef this,
See,
Chief
if that's
Keef
gonna be
that.
your new job, you get the context of all these songs so we know.
Keyed in on that.
That's right.
It's on BD and Lamb.
Were you shitting yourself? How long ago was that when that happened?
That was like last year, around this time last year, kind of.
Were you shitting yourself when he reached in there? You were still
When
cool?
when he found the gun, I already knew it was coming. But yeah,
You just look right there.
yeah. I mean, I knew I was gonna have a lawyer and everything. I just didn't know how the bond process was gonna work. But there's no bond in Illinois.
There's no bond in Illinois?
Nah, either you get out or you don't. Yeah,
But
no,
you got
no
out.
cash. Yeah, I got out. So I was sitting in there. They brought me. They put me in a cell by myself, with nobody in there for like 6 hours, and then they finally let me out. Yeah, it was terrible.
When did it get dismissed? Later, I assume.
Yeah,
right?
like a month later.
Did you go to Cook County Jail?
Yeah, Cook County.
Ooh.
How bad was it?
It wasn't bad. I was just in like the holding part, so I wasn't in like county, like the holding cells. I wasn't in like the big jail.
Did
I
they
don't know.
feed you in those 6 hours?
Nah, but they did. I had to ask for it though. They just gave me like some slices of bread. Yeah, so a loaf of bread.
Could you imagine having to eat the food in jail or prison?
I've heard from guys that I've had in, and maybe people out there in the comments who have experience can answer this a little better, but fed is way better than state.
Yeah, it's
by
all.
a lot.
I don't know why it's backwards. Like the prison's better than county too. Like, you know, you're supposed to be innocent until you're proven guilty,
Right.
but the people who are supposed to be innocent are living way worse than the people in prison. Like people in prison got TVs, phones, clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
everything.
take a story like a guy like CTS Lowick. He's the white rapper from St. Louis that beat the murder case.
Yeah.
Is that Yee Yee guy? Yee Yee.
Oh, that's not Yee Yee guy.
Okay.
He got no country in him. He's all street.
Okay.
But he sat in jail for over a year, and he eventually came out that he killed someone in self-defense.
Yeah.
And he was completely cleared, good to go. But yeah, he still spent a year of his life locked up. And there wasn't like when he got out, oh, you know, maybe you missed out on a rap deal or you couldn't make money for your family. There was no restitution.
Right.
It seems a little strange. Actually, I have an ongoing court case. And
You do?
Yes.
Is this the ball sack thing?
No, this is the base jumper. So we were with guys in Detroit, and we were climbing to the top of a building so they could jump off them with a parachute. And we got caught. The third building that we went to, I hope this gets released after the court's over. But we got caught. We got a police drone on us. The entire shift was out, and they were going to jump anyways. And then they made a deal with the cops. Hey, pinky promise, if we don't jump, we don't go to jail. Boom. So we got down. The cops were pretty cool about it. Get a ticket, misdemeanor. They said breaking and entering, which we didn't break and enter anything. We just, there was an opening that we got into.
Did you tell me you were a journalist?
Yeah.
Covering it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And but we have to travel. So they're like, okay, you can't travel, you can't talk to each other. You have to write a letter to the judge to go to any state outside of Wisconsin. And I can only talk to Miguel and Keegan for business purposes. And it just is.
Oh, because they were with you. They got charged too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, but how do you, for a misdemeanor too, how are you putting all these, you can't have a firearm, you can't travel out of the state. One, you don't even know if I'm guilty, and two, it's a misdemeanor. So how are you gonna? How can you restrict me that much? It just seems like a overreach.
Yeah, it's I actually think about this one a lot, like the process before like adjudication or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it is problematic across the board. Like everything you raise right there is a prime example. But it's like also what's the alternative? Like how do you fix it? It's one of those where I can point out the problem, but I don't know what the solution is because yours doesn't really matter. It's a fucking misdemeanor at a place. It's going to end up getting dismissed, obviously. But, you know, then you have someone who's in there for murder. And maybe they did do it. You find out later they didn't. But like the one you bring up about your buddy in St. Louis, it's like the potential loss of income and everything. If he's in there a year and then comes out, you know, should taxpayer money compensate him something for that? Like there might be a conversation to be had there, but it's also like you have to let the process play out. It just sucks. Like if you get caught for something or accused of something, I should say.
I think the biggest solution that's out there is increased government efficiency because the Zoom meeting, okay, 8:30 a.m. you have to be on. And then it was about a 2-hour process. And then we didn't even get any further in the case. They just said, okay, now May 28th, you have another case to really start getting into it. And imagine if someone had like, okay, I'm going to take 2 hours off of work. I have to explain to my boss why I'm on a 2-hour Zoom meeting in a court in Michigan. And then they can just like, oh, we're going to adjourn. We're going to adjourn. So all these little inconveniences, if they really wanted to clamp down on us, they could make us come to the state for certain things. So that, you know, I have to drive or fly to Detroit. I have to get a hotel. Yeah. And when the court system gets weaponized against you, it just feels crappy. It's like, how am I funding this? But you guys get to just yank us around. And I'm experiencing it to the lightest dose of what's out there.
Right.
Yeah, I've had some bullshit happen to me. When I was like 17, I was at a basketball court. And, well, basically the cops said they charged me with aggravated robbery that I swear to God on Jesus Christ I didn't do.
Oh, on Jesus, too.
On Jesus. I was in crutches and a boot.
Whoa.
I swear to God I didn't do it. I was in crutches and a boot. And then
slow bank robbery.
Yeah, so here's what happened. We was at a basketball court, and I was with my friend. This is when I was I was 17, so I was just visiting Houston because I used to live there. Okay. I was visiting. I was in my crutches on the sidelines while they're hooping and stuff, just chilling. And then it was just tense, you know, just hooping, talking shit. And then after, my phone was charging on the side, so I went to go grab my phone. And I guess this boy's ball was here. And as I was going to get my phone, he was like, let me take my ball. I don't want you stealing it. And then we just started arguing, and that was it. Because I'm in crutches in a boot, so I can't even do shit. And I left. I come back to the court 3 weeks later, and like 2 cop cars pull up. They run, put my hands behind my back while I'm still in the boot. They ask me a bunch of questions. They handcuff me, take a picture of me, ask me a bunch of questions, and then they let me go. And then the next day, they put me on the news and said I was on the run.
On the run?
Yes, I swear to God.
Do we have this news article we can link?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to find it for you.
Tell us
Is it in the Chase Bank
what
archival footage or anything like that?
Chase Bank archive footage?
Yeah, because you have a lot of those, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was the charge again?
Aggravated robbery.
Aggravated robbery.
Yes, and I had to get a lawyer. They said I put a gun to his head and put him in a headlock and took his basketball.
If you did that on crutches, that's some real G shit.
That's what I'm saying.
On
And they
crutches
dragged the case.
and just a basketball?
Yeah, they dragged the case on for 4 years, and I had to call and check in every Wednesday. Yeah. So
You had to call. What do you mean call and check in?
because I had a bail's bond,
Okay.
so I had to just check in every Wednesday, or like I don't know, some shit would happen.
Like, what are you doing? Selling PS5s?
Yeah. And then that it took a while, and it finally got dismissed. But I think they were just waiting for me to fuck up again, so they could use that.
That is what they do in the system. They
Yeah.
get you on something, and you know the term they use for like probation, where they say tail. There's another one that I think would be perfect to call a tail, which is when they get you for something so they can have an excuse to watch you and tail you around, and then wait for you to do so. And sometimes like maybe you are doing something wrong, but other times they just use it because you know they want to get their numbers and they want to make a case, and this is an easy target because it's someone who's already in the system.
Yeah, they put me on the news too, and like my friends' parents was calling my mom like, "Is your son okay?" And everybody's asking me if I'm okay. I just woke up and I'm on the news and saying I'm on the run.
What did your mom say to you when she saw that?
I don't even remember. She was just more worried. She didn't really say anything, but I don't know.
Did you?
That was so long ago.
When you were growing up, like I don't know, when you're like 10, 11, like what did you want to do? Did you have like aspirations for a certain career or something like that?
Yeah, I wanted to be in the NFL or the NBA like everybody else. Yeah.
Were you nice?
In basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like a 7 out of 10 in basketball. I'm 10 out of 10 in football though.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you like 6'6", something like that?
6'4".
6'4"?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you're pretty
6'5".
big.
Yeah. Were you good at anything?
When I was 18 years old, I was the same height I am now and 140 pounds. So I was like a stilt. So I was like I was a late bloomer with stuff. I wasn't great at anything. I was good at golf. I could do that well.
What a white thing to say,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, golf.
Oh, okay.
I suck at golf and baseball.
Okay soccer player. I was like a mediocre baseball player. But yeah, it wasn't like great at anything.
Okay.
What position were you in basketball?
Point guard, shooting guard.
Point guard.
Yeah.
You played in
were
high
you-
school?
Yeah, a little bit, and then I quit
Why'd you quit?
to do YouTube.
To do YouTube.
Yeah.
So you gave up on the dream to do YouTube.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even. I didn't want to do it no more. It stopped being fun
Why did it stop being fun?
because everybody was just taking it too serious, and it just wasn't fun anymore.
Mm.
Yeah. It just wasn't fun. It just felt like a job.
What'd you want to do on YouTube?
I was making 2K videos,
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
and that's when I got into selling the 2K accounts and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get to YouTube, you're like, this monetization's a little harder than I thought.
Yeah. No. I was actually doing good on YouTube.
Oh, you were?
I mean, yeah, decent back then. Like as a kid, I was making like $4,000 to $6,000 a month.
That's
That was back
really
then before
good.
inflation too. So
Yeah, that's actually really
in
fucking
2016, it was pretty good, and I would just use it all on like I'd buy a laptop or something.
good. And then somewhere in there, you're like, I'm getting connected to a lot of people through this, and they got some dough. I can add that little dough to my account, you know, pull it out.
Yeah, maybe.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Did your mom know what you were doing? She knew
Like-
you were doing YouTube, but did she know the other stuff?
Nah, because I wasn't really super doing it that much. That was just like, all right, for the weekend we're gonna do this.
What do you mean you're going to do this?
Like for the weekend, all right, I'm gonna hit that play,
You're going to what?
sell the accounts.
Okay.
It wasn't like
Hit
that
that
wasn't
play,
like my
Julian.
everyday thing.
Yeah, he's saying
It's
that
just
like,
like, I
yeah,
can't-
he'll know what that means. So she did she ever catch you like doing something where she's like, "What are you doing? This is illegal."
Nah.
So you were totally under the radar. She
Yeah.
just thought you were just doing the YouTube account, pretty much.
That's what I was doing at that time for the most part. I'm telling you, I probably only did that for like 2 weekends.
Okay.
Or
One
like
of
a
his
week.
hustles you should know about. Didn't you pretend to either be a girl or send girl pictures?
Oh, damn, I forgot
and you got
about
guys
that.
to show up to your house.
Not my house, but the house across the street. Yeah, I used to pretend. Yeah, it's called e-horn. I used to do that. Yeah. I used to do that. I used to have
Wait, e-whoring?
yeah.
So how would this happen? Like, what's the process?
So I would get pictures of a female, make a Tinder, make a all the Bumble, Yubo, all those apps, and then I would just tell them in the bio, it would be like, add me on Snap, and then a whole bunch of people would just start adding you on Snap, and then you'll charge them for like a premium story or like a meetup, and then I'll just go from there. And then I started doing that, and I had 2 other girls doing it too. And I was teaching them how to do it, and we'd meet up after school every day.
Would they use themselves? Like,
No, they wouldn't use themselves. Okay. But I would have them because the guys, they would be like, all right, call me to verify you're real, or like, let me hear your voice and shit. So then like they would call, and then they would say hi, and then she would say hi. And then like I would tell them what to say. They would mute it. I'd be like, all right, say this. And then, yeah. So it was running like a little operation.
Like out of your parents' house?
Nah. I was just in my car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not at my parents. No. Where people was pulling up, nobody pulled up to my parents' house, but they'll pull up down the street or something, because like they'll pull up and it'd be like, all right, if you're really who you say you are, what car am I in? So now I'll just look out the window and be like, you're in this car. And then they would send it, and I would like, they would send it through Apple Pay, and I would delete the message on Apple Pay. Like, you can somebody sends you money, you can delete like that part where they sent it to you. Yeah. So I would delete that, and I'll send them a screenshot back. I didn't get it. Send it again. And then, yeah.
We don't recommend any of this. We're doing this episode so that people can learn how to spot this and not get e-hoard and stuff. That's why we're exploring this. That was actually one thing that was really interesting. The little side note right here. When we brought in the drivers, like I had talked with them when we all like met up when you were here way back. But I really wanted to do that because it was like, it wasn't at all to glorify it or anything like that. In fact, I did quite the opposite throughout that episode. But I wanted to see where these guys are coming from, why they do what they do, have a chance for people out there to see it. Obviously, we're not going to like condone it, but there were a lot of people who were like, how dare you put these people on here? I'm like, guys, would you rather like never hear from them and not know what it is, or not know the people are out there either driving around or slinging PS5s to people for $500 that they never fucking get? Like, I'd rather see it, even if it's not something that is like you ever want to condone or something like that. And as you're telling us today, you're trying to stop people from doing that. Yeah, allegedly.
That's been my tone. Yeah,
that's been your tone.
Yeah, I mean, that's fucked up. Somebody's working hard for their money, and then you're just gonna take it from them. That's not right.
So you think it was fucked up when you were saying, all right, yeah, it's a red Mazda down there, tell him that, and then he's sending you $200 to get pussy?
He shouldn't be paying for pussy. Just go outside. I never felt bad doing that.
That one you were okay with?
Yeah, I never felt bad. You feel bad for him?
It's mixed emotions.
It's kind of a pathetic creature.
Yeah, like, what are you doing? That's like, that should be your, you should, after that, you should be like, all right, I need to quit being a scrub and get in the gym.
It's definitely different than like, I'm trying to get a PS5 or something.
Yeah, that's a little fucked up.
There's definitely something different there.
That guy on the drive home needs to put on a Tony Robbins motivational speech and change his life, dude.
Oh, I would have people like, I would have them go get food too and drop it off at the neighbor's house. I swear to God, I'd be like, yeah, go to McDonald's. I need a 10-piece with a Sprite. And then after, like, so I would either block them and then they would get the picture and leave, or like one time I rolled up the window and was like, it's the police, you're under arrest. And then they just skirt off the block, go down, collect, they put the money in the mailbox. Sometimes if they wanted to pay cash, pick up the money out the mailbox and get my food.
Did they see you when you did the police thing? Like, did they turn
it was nighttime. Nah, they didn't see you. They didn't see. One time there was this one guy in a BMW too. And I think I hit him like 3 times. Like, he sent it like 3 times. And he was like, this is my last. I don't even got gas to get back. Cause he drove like 3 hours. And then I blocked him. And then, like, he just started banging the steering wheel like this. And, like, was putting his head on like a movie scene, like crying on the steering wheel.
Did you feel bad for this guy?
No. Why is he paying? No, I don't.
Driving a BMW. He
drove a BMW 3 hours. Went negative into his bank account to pay for pussy.
There's so much going on there. Yeah.
That man needs a Dr. Phil episode.
Yeah, he does.
You feel bad?
I just feel bad for how miserable.
I feel like them same people are so desperate. They're probably like pedophiles too. So I don't feel bad. If you're that desperate, I wouldn't put nothing past them.
Run into shit. So did you ever put people like girls, like fake girls, on there that were underage?
No, hell no.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
That's good.
No, I would not do that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're trying to say like
'cause
run
that's
like
how the
a
answers do it,
if
is
you
they say,
did
"Hey, I'm
that, then it
14."
would be like a fucking pedophile would be coming there to see them.
yeah, but I wasn't even thinking that wasn't big. Like To Catch a Predator and shit, like Skeeter Jean were doing. That wasn't big back then. I wasn't even thinking about it, and I didn't care. I just wanted to finesse him.
Yeah, well, you did that.
Yeah.
You did a video with Chris Hansen, right?
That's
I'm
crazy.
Chris
What was-
Hansen. Yeah,
what
he's
was
a
that
very
like?
interesting character. So we got to go into a house that they had set up with cameras everywhere. There was local PD waiting, and it was just a sting operation.
Take a seat.
Yeah. And he is a very, I don't want to say neurotic, but he's in the zone. Like he's constantly taking notes on his clipboard. He's kind of practicing his lines, and he shut things down. Like when the person was 20 minutes away, he like you can't even whisper. Like he just would be like, he's a professional, and this is what he does. So he just wanted everything. He was an operator. Everything was in tip top shape. And then when the predator comes, that's his entering the UFC cage. He goes in there, like Bruce Buffer announces he's there, and then he strolls in and he does like that's his thing that he does for the world. And it was just very interesting to see it from 15 feet away, and we heard it on the other side of the wall. Like,
Oh, so you can't see it.
Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's a huge, huge help. Thank you.
we had a monitor
Yeah,
in
like
the room.
closed captions.
Yeah, but like I want to say there was a huge adrenaline rush. I didn't think it was a big deal. I'm like, oh, some turd's gonna come in here talking to a kid. Like it's not a big deal. But when that guy stepped in, everyone's breath was held, and it was like, holy shit, I can't believe Chris Hansen is out there doing it right now.
It is crazy.
And it's real. It's actually someone who's there thinking they're meeting up with, like you're in the presence of someone who's a legit pedophile.
Well, there's a little gray area here.
Oh.
Because here's why I say that. Some of these guys, like they claim, well, hey, the dating profile was 19, and you're only supposed to have adults on this profile, and then somewhere in the cops hook them and say I'm only 14, but then they're too far deep to get out of it. Like they're too horny to back out, and they keep going forward. What I didn't get to see was the communication. Like I don't know how they let them know that they're 14, because some of these guys just seem more sleazy than pedophile-y. Like some of them, you just look at the guy and you're like, oh, you do kids because that's all you can get. But there's some guys that are like, it's a 35-year-old man that thinks he's meeting a 19-year-old, and then
It's already like a little.
it's gray area. And I'm not excusing any of this. I'm not trying to apologize for them, but also some of them I think are mentally like, I don't know if
For
there's some guys
sure,
on the
yeah.
autism spectrum coming in to get kids. So it's like some of it I do feel a little.
I don't feel no sympathy.
You have to protect the kids no matter what. So put these guys away. But these are guys that just need help. A lot of them are very sad, pathetic.
Well, they're all sad, pathetic. But like the thing is, Tommy, I don't give a fuck like what profile you're looking at, how hot you might think she is. All right.
The second she says she's underage, that's it.
what I'm
Cut it
saying.
off.
Yeah, you can-
There's
there's
Someone
so many
says
women in the
14,
world.
my phone's getting burned.
A-
Like I'm just like,
100%.
Yeah, literally.
I just want to know, to get the leads that they're getting, I would be curious to see what the communication looks like.
They be on that. I feel
Yeah.
like they be on. They know exactly what they're
yeah,
doing.
I'm with Dev here. I'm sure there's a few, like statistically, there's a few who are just this. I mean, obviously there's something wrong with all of them, but there's a few that are like literally, I don't know, like.
Because I guess what I'm
Not
going
all
with, the
there.
guy's defense is like, look, the app says 19.
But he knows. They say it multiple times. They don't just say it
Yeah.
once. They never
Yeah.
just say it once. They be like,
Yep.
and then they'll be like, oh, they know what
I
they're
guess
doing.
even think about this. Even a 35-year-old agreeing to go drive through the night and meet up with a 19-year-old, that in itself
crazy.
is still very weird and still like this guy's a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like driving.
So
through
I
the
in no way
night.
feel
Yeah.
bad for these guys at all. I just think when I see the guys that look for and I'm like, oh man, like he lives in his mom's basement.
But they
and
still know what they're doing too, though.
Yeah.
Yes. They still know what they're doing too. They be knowing, and they'll try to
plus,
they'll try to
even,
play into
hey,
knowing
a kid
that
still needs to be protected from a
predator. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want people to twist your words there. I understand what you're saying. It's just like there's such a clear line there that if you actually like literally are or something like that or mentally.
We're allowed to say that word again, aren't we?
Sorry, bro.
2025, I've heard that.
Not allowed to.
I think so.
It gets demonetized, but
Oh,
you know
so you
what
have
I
to blurt
mean.
that
Like,
out?
like what? Yeah, what I was trying to say is like if you literally are mentally challenged, I don't know, maybe there's like some kind of case you can make there, but it's just so clear that like even if you're a dumb person, you're dumb enough to drive through the middle of the night because you think like some 19-year-old's like thirsty for you or something. Like,
There's something going on.
Yeah,
with you.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Now, what happens after Chris Hansen walks in there and like says, "Take a seat," like, and then the cameras stop after he does like the whole confrontation? Like, do the cops come?
No, they get swarmed right away. So they either get swarmed because the guy tries escaping and the cops swarm him then, or like he does his 5 or 10 minute interview with them and sees how deep he can go with what their motivations are, what's happened in their life, how like. Just acknowledging how aware they are of how much they would mess someone's life up if they went through with this.
Yeah.
And once he's done with that, then bam, like there's in the bedrooms or rooms next door, like there's 8 or 9 cops just ready to jump in at the slightest. Like if something's about to go off, 8 or 9 guys are jumping in on you.
You see how some of them be fans of Chris Hansen too?
Oh, that's
Like,
the weirdest.
how are you a fan?
Yeah.
They'd be like, I know exactly who you are.
Oh, I love your show. Like you're on the show right now.
And then do you see the excuses they come up with too? Like, I was just coming here to make sure they were all
Oh,
okay.
I was delivering pizza. They said they
Yeah.
were hungry.
Oh, the panic face excuses are nuts, man. Like it's like the peak cringe when you watch guys trying to explain it away.
No,
Yeah.
here's something to think about is a lot of these people are not what's the word? You can't cure them of this.
Right.
Is there just life in prison? Is this a death penalty situation? Because you cannot have these people out lurking.
Should just
when
put them on
our
an
kids
island.
are walking around. Huh?
I think we need people like that, pedophiles. We need an island, and we just throw them all on the island, man. Let them.
I know of
grow
an
up
island
over
that
there.
might be available. I think they
Epstein
moved
Island?
out of it. Yeah.
They should throw all them type of people on that island.
Yeah, because the recidivism rate is.
Yeah,
I was talking to a couple experts on this. I think it's it's extremely high. You can't once it's in their system, that's what they go for.
The thing that scared me a little bit like a couple years ago was when, and I remember like trying to in my head be like, no, they're not really doing that. And then you start to see it. But when they started to try to like create a term for it, MAPS, it was
Oh
like
my
called minor
gosh.
attracted persons. Where
No
they were trying,
way.
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
never heard of that. They're trying to make a
Bro,
sickness out of it.
They
Death
were-
penalty for the
try-
people that proposed that.
They
too.
were trying
that's too
to like
easy out.
explain it away. Yeah, they're
They
trying to
gotta-
be like, well, it's a disorder.
No, it's
like,
not.
Dude,
How do you like a kid? It's like disgusting. Like,
it's gross, dude.
yeah.
It's like and
And
it's,
some of them like little kids too, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
toddlers and infants.
Yeah.
Like they sell them type of videos and pictures and shit.
it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's literally disgusting.
There was a very dark
happens a
rabbit
lot.
hole here that
Yes.
is almost too uncomfortable to go down.
Yeah.
To know
It's-
that this is the thing. When I talk to some of the cops in the basement, to realize when you talk to these guys that chase it down, they act like it's everywhere. And to me, I'm like, oh, this must be a very niche category. Like there's a couple guys in each town. They don't run out of episodes.
Nope.
They just
It is
keep
everywhere though. I
catching
don't think
them.
that's what a lot of people don't like. There's actually like a lot of people that like are weird like that. That I feel like people think it's rare, but it's not. Like there's always somebody in somebody's family like doing some weird shit. Like it's weird, bro. Just being on Telegram, I came across like a lot of weird shit, bro.
On Telegram.
Yeah,
What kinds of shit?
just weird shit, bro. Like people just be trolling, sending shit. Like, or I've heard stories. Like just being in the atmosphere, like around type of shit. Yeah, there's a lot of weird people and like.
Are people just like sending around like you know what I mean?
I've never had
Illicit-
nothing sent to me, but I've heard
Okay.
stories and shit. Yeah, and like they'll be having like just weird Telegram groups and shit. It's just everywhere. It is everywhere, and people are sick for sure.
Does that surprise you guys though? Just to think that it's that widespread, does that surprise you?
When I first think about it every time, of course it like surprises me because you're like, how could people be like this? And then when you hear about it more and more, you're like, not to get cynical about it, but you're like, well, I guess it's a subset percentage of people are just
Yeah, it's
fucked
always
up.
surprising to me, but I just was so surprised how like common it was.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we definitely walk across like a weird pedophile a couple times a day.
But there's also around the world, there's some cultural problems too. And there's one example that I'm telling you, this has come up now on camera a few times, but it's come up off camera with every fucking tier 1 guy I've had here who spent a lot of time in Afghanistan. Like it's
Oh
normal
yeah, there'd be
there.
weird stuff
boys?
out there.
It's
Yeah,
normal
Yeah,
there.
like over there. Yeah, yeah.
They have a phrase. It's disgusting, but the phrase is like, women are for babies and boys are for fun. That's a very real thing. Like we've
How
had
does
multiple
Allah
guys in here
think
who have
about- what does he
pulled
think about
guys
that?
off of the kids. Like literally had to physically pull them off.
That is crazy.
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know how people can even start that type of.
But it's culturally like like that one, looking at it as a science, like, you know, experiment, like how the fuck does X lead to Y here? It's because it's culturally ingrained. Like that's just what they do, you know? And they're like, all right, so they do this to little kids, and then those little kids grow up, and it's like, okay, well, now
fucking them up. Yeah. That's how you seen that Netflix series. Who was the two boys? The Mendez brothers. Yeah, it's like it always starts like that. Like it's like their parent does some weird shit to them, and they grow up and do some weird shit to somebody else. Yeah.
There was another. Bustamante was just in here, and he talked about. I was asking him the most fucked up stuff he ever saw. He was a covert spy for CIA, probably still in, but he talked about going to meet with like warlord generals in Africa, and there's a bunch of little kids around that are child soldiers that they feed gunpowder and cocaine to make them fucking crazy, and they abuse all of them. And I said, how do you fix that? Like, how do you break that cycle? And he said, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for saying this because it sucks to say it, but he's like, you just got to kill them all.
Yeah, you kind of do, though.
I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, all of them. He's like, you feel terrible for the kids. It's already gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, bro. Jesus Christ. You know, it gets dark. It gets real dark. But then we're supposed to be like this beacon on the hill in America, you know, but we got a severe problem here too.
Yeah,
like, let's not be pointing fingers everywhere else in the world. Like you said, it's in every town. It's in every city. There's people who do this. If you go pull up the fucking what's the sex registry?
That map, yeah, it's like the Citizens app map,
dude.
They're like everywhere. I be doing that. I look and I'm like, bro, these are everywhere.
It's like I'm looking. Yeah, no, and it could be the most normal people too, normal seeming. I should say.
They do. They look normal. And
I don't know. I feel like they have a look to them.
Some of them
There's
do.
definitely a profile. When he gets caught on Chris Hansen, you're like.
I kind of feel like sometimes I feel like Chris does get central casting. Like I feel like that he's like, oh, that one will do.
Who's the turd that looks sad and just that just is never getting laid in his life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get in touch with him?
His guy Sean runs the network True Blue, and they do a lot of either police kind of documentaries and more right wing things. I think he's working on a piece with Kristi Noem, the current HHS. No, is that HHS?
Sounds right. Yeah, she's one of the.
She's the chief fed. Let's just say that. So he has all these different connections, and then we said, hey, we'd love to collaborate. So when we were driving on a trip, we went out to his place in Ohio. Chris Hansen was there. We had pizza with him, but not in a way that most people have pizza with Chris Hansen. And
you had pizza with him?
They were having a team meeting when we got to their house.
He always does bring out that pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got. Even just seeing him eating pizza and me being in the same room, like I'm not supposed to be here. This is like you got to look for the doors, look for the exits. You know,
Tommy's like arrest me. Oh man,
that's just kind of dangerous. Because imagine if it's just a pedophile and then he's just like he don't even want to see the consequences. He just crashes out.
Not one of those guys that looked at and thought I couldn't kill him in under 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
What if they come in with a gun?
I feel like a lot of them are so wimpy. That
you're so lame. Yeah.
Remember when EDP 445 got caught?
Yeah.
Oh my
god. EDP 445.
He got caught a couple times, right?
Oh yeah.
No, it's some fat black YouTuber.
Yeah, it stood for Eat That Pussy 445.
Are you serious?
That was his name. Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it stood for.
The reason I know him is because we don't claim him now, but he.
Oh, you were friends with him?
No.
Oh. You guys
he came up as an Eagles fan. So he would do these hilarious Eagles videos like, we lost the fucking game, god damn it! And people would just like laugh at all his crash outs. And then a few years later, he's like pretty big and then gets caught literally like full-blown sting, coming to meet a 13-year-old girl. He knew she was 13 or supposedly going to be 13.
Usually you don't stereotype that the brothers are in on this, but even DJ Academics had a weird thing.
He did?
Too.
I heard about that.
Yeah, shout out DJ Academics. You and Brandon Buckingham should go do a cage fight and settle some things because you're a little couch potato.
Oh, yeah. He went after Brandon.
Yeah. But he was talking to a kid online and saying some unbelievable things. And
define unbelievable.
These are things that if I repeat, I get banned from YouTube. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. That's good enough.
Let's just say sexually suggestive things to a boy. Some Catholic... Never mind. You just joined, so I won't say that. But some Vatican shit.
I gotta look into that.
Oh, dude,
you gotta look into that.
There should be a RICO case
I never heard
on the
about that
Catholic Church. Undeniably.
Really?
Oh, dude.
Yes.
It's not great.
They've covered up.
It's not great.
I mean, look at the Boston Globe.
You think the Pope be on that too? The last pope or any of the popes?
If you're the leader of a group that knowingly shifts priests around when incidents happen frequently, like not just one or two, but hundreds, yeah, I think you probably know about it.
The Pope before the last one, so not Pope Francis. Pope Benedict, I think his name was. He was a guy who had shifted around a bunch of these guys, and then he he retired from being Pope. And some people speculate, was he kind of like
So does that make like the Catholic? I feel like I don't make like the Catholic religion like less creditable, but the people in it could just be bad.
I think about this a lot because what I never want to do is in anything like collectively punish people or whatever. Like I grew up Catholic, right? Obviously, like I'm. Not
are you still or not no more?
No.
What are you now?
I'm nothing. I'm.
No way you believe in science.
Agnostic. No. I definitely believe in God. 100%. I just don't need a organized church to tell me how to do it.
Nah, definitely. That's how I used to feel too. But I like to go to church now and like follow that because it's just like a book of guidelines that just helped me be more focused.
When did you start like really going to church?
I never really went to church, but I just started like reading the Bible and stuff and like studying it a lot.
When was that?
My whole life, but I started doing it super hard in like 2021.
What made you want to do that? We were talking about this at the very beginning, but we got
it was like some incident happened where I almost like lost my life. I had to defend myself, and then after that, then I was like, yeah, I gotta get it together. When I started, I was somebody tried to rob me at an ATM. Yeah.
Now, were you known at this point? Were you already known publicly?
Yeah, a little bit. I could tell the person who did it. Like it was random, but I could tell the person who was trying to do it. Like definitely knew who I was because like he came around the corner with like the AR and like you could just see in his eyes. He was like,
AR.
Yeah, he was just like that, and I was like,
oh wait, man. You pulled out too.
Yeah. So here's what happened. Well, I was at the ATM. I'm the short version of the story. I was at the ATM basically, and I was taking pictures, like hella money and shit. And then we seen a car parked there, but it looked like it was off, so I wasn't thinking none of it. And then I hear somebody come around the corner, and then like in my pictures, sometimes I take pictures with the gloves and the mask on and shit. So he first came around the corner, he had the same shit on. So like I don't know, my first thought I was like, or maybe he's here to do the same shit. So we're like this distance away from each other. I'm like, what's up? He's like, what's up? He tries to grab me. I step back and I pull my shit out, and I was like, what the fuck? And as soon as I do that, it was like a 16-year-old kid comes around with like a big ass AR. He's masked up too, and he sees me and he just freezes like that. You can just see in his eyes. And I was just like, and I shot the person in front of me.
Oh, you shot him?
Yeah, and then I went to shoot the person with the AR, but my adrenaline was running so much, and I was holding like so tight, like the clip fell out. So when I shot it, it clipped, it clicked, and the clip fell out. And then they ran that way, and the dude, he got hit like somewhere around here. He got up and it fell on the ground again, and then I ran this way. Yeah. And
Did
then
you call the cops?
Like 4 hours later, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, man, I don't know if I should or not, because I was on the way out running. I'm running with my shit, and I look up, and there was like I look directly into a camera. So I was like, I have to. So I call, and I just tell him, like, yeah, somebody tried to rob me at ATM. I had to defend myself.
And it's all on camera, too, because
it is on camera, but I never got the footage. So I called and tell him that, and then the cop was just on some, like, instead of like, all right, you're in America, you know, you're defending yourself. He was just like, trying to make me a criminal, like, right. Oh yeah, we picked up the multiple shell cases. We need you to come down and speak to us and shit. And I was like, never mind. And I got my lawyer, and I was gonna have my lawyer put in like the affidavit or whatever to get the footage, but he was like, don't even, if they're not gonna do anything with the case, then was no case. But if they're not gonna pursue it, I wouldn't ask for the footage either. So he told me not to ask for it, so it doesn't like stir something up.
Did they ever pursue the other guys?
Mm-mm.
So it just totally went.
No, I wouldn't have said nothing about them anyway. I just had to let them know how to defend myself. I wouldn't have snitched on them. I just had to be like, I had to defend myself. I mean, I'm on camera anyway, no mask.
Yeah. And
I have a concealed carry, so if I would have killed both of them, I would have been good.
But you didn't kill either of them.
No.
They got.
I don't know nothing about him or nothing.
Let's go back to that though. So you shot at him. Did you hit him?
Yeah, for sure. He was
definitely
like
for sure.
This far away from me. And I probably hit him like somewhere around his stomach and leg.
What'd that feel like? You'd never shot someone before.
Yeah, but I mean that's every gun owner's dream. I feel like. What else you buying the guns for? Just defend yourself. So I wish I would have killed him, but I didn't.
I think the dream is to not have to use it. That would be the dream. Personally.
Yeah.
But are you feeling like, is it just the adrenaline rush? Like, holy shit, I just shot someone, or?
Yeah, I did not sleep the next day because I was just thinking I didn't give a fuck about them. I just thought I was gonna go to jail, I was like, bro, I'm fucked. I was looking up assault charge, like how many years I'm going to do. I did not sleep. And then eventually nothing came from it. I mean, I wasn't in the wrong anyway, but you still, like you said, when you're innocent still, and you do something like that, you still have to go to jail and do shit like that. And then they'll find out that you're innocent later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
So that's what I'm thinking in my head. Like either way, I'm gonna have to just, yeah.
What did like time stop a little bit in the middle of that? Or was
No,
it
it happened
just
so quick. It just happened so quick. That's what I'm telling you. You never know when you're gonna need it or nothing. It just be happening quick.
When you were running away though from the scene, like what does
I was kind of hitting like a little jog, like looking back, making sure.
checking out his work?
Because you don't want to run full. What if somebody else is around the corner too? You don't want to run full
Right.
speed. You gotta, like, do an observant jog. Make sure.
An observant jog.
But yeah, nah. They just left, and then I just left.
Did you see like blood coming from behind him?
I didn't even look or go back to the scene or nothing. No. I just know he got hit. He fell to the ground. And he got up and fell to the ground again. And then he's like, I'm hit. And then they left.
God damn. So
That's why I don't care to tell the story though, because I didn't do nothing wrong. And if police want to go fight,
yeah,
the footage is all right there. I have nothing to lie about.
If it's self-defense and they're coming around and you're robbing an ATM and you're legally carrying a gun, you're within your rights to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure every gun owner out there listening to it right now, if that's in fact what happened, would probably say the same thing. So.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's what made you want to start reading the Bible after that.
Yeah. Well, that too. So not just that. So I had a different name before, and I had an Instagram. I was verified on everything.
Like a different
rap
legal
name. Yeah, rap name. So it was OBN Dev. That was my name before.
OBN. What does that stand for?
I don't even really remember. So long ago.
You don't remember, dude?
Nah. So I think it just looked cool.
What are you, Ronald Reagan on the stand right now?
Yeah. So I had an Instagram. I was blowing up on that one too. My YouTube, my TikTok, and I was making money on all those platforms. And then one day, so all just got deleted. All of it. Yeah. My Instagram got clapped. My YouTube, my TikToks, I had to restart again. That's how I became Punchmade Dev.
Yeah. Wait. So all the platforms just simultaneously took you off?
Yeah.
Was it because of stuff that had publicly come out that involved you?
Nah, it was loopholes. Like, cause like everybody was upgrading their terms and shit, a service. This is like when the world started becoming like where you can't say like no more.
Still can't, but okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So like that's all the terms was getting updated, and I guess like there was like loopholes in the system where you could just get somebody banned for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, so I fell victim to getting banned.
So people were doing like a mass reporting on you.
Kind of, yeah, something like that, yeah. So
Did you ever have the people that try to take your account hostage and make you buy it back and do the extortion game?
Well, that's what they tried to do to me, but I never paid because they don't take our account hostage, but they'll ban it and be like, I can help you get it back for this amount. But I already know it's bullshit, so I never paid.
Because the Instagram help support system is so terrible that there's guys that made a business out of, they would somehow manage to infiltrate your account. And I actually had a guy do this to me.
Somebody took your actual account?
No, like they
just banned it, right?
I would keep getting a message, your account's been banned.
Facts.
And then you have to appeal. And then luckily Instagram would reinstate it. But there was this one teenage kid that was going after me for a few days. And it was just like, dude.
Yeah, they're annoying.
There's huge. There's still really bad loopholes in the systems on all the platforms, and it's tough because like they have tens of millions, billions of accounts on there. It's not like they can do it individually, but yeah, people will like mass report something they don't like, and then you later have to get it fixed, and they're like, oh sorry, but in the meantime, it fucked you. Yeah,
and that could be somebody's whole business. That's like burning down somebody's store.
Yeah,
and then have you ever got banned?
I've had posts taken down before that were falsely reported. That's happened on. It happened on Instagram a few times, which I'm not even like active on Instagram. It's crazy to happen there. When we used to be really big on TikTok, and that was like driving stuff. We had problems in 2021 and early 2022 with that. And then on YouTube, we haven't had stuff banned on YouTube, have we? No, we had one like copyright disagreement, but yeah, YouTube's been okay. But I hear about it on YouTube where people, not even like copyright strike stuff, people have like mass reportings on like, I don't know, hateful content or whatever the fuck the buzzword is.
You can get anything back though. You can get YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Like there's a way. I know how to. I'm not gonna say it on here, but if it ever happens to you, I swear to God, I know how to get anything back.
Wait, why can't you say it on here?
Because I'm not gonna give out the sauce. It's not gonna work no more.
Oh, people got it.
It's not no shady way to do it though. It's like it's a legal way to do it, but you can get it back, anything back.
Does it involve like having an in at the company?
Nah, but no, it doesn't involve having an in. You don't need one. That's a route you can take, but you don't need one. No.
I'm so curious about this.
Yeah, I mean it's simple. When I tell you, you're just gonna be like, oh, Never thought about it.
He's a smart guy.
I know. I can tell you're a very smart guy.
Accomplished businessman.
There's no doubt about that.
Didn't Harvard Business recruit you to like teach their classes
Come on.
and stuff?
Yeah, I turned it down though. There's people not smart enough.
Professor
they're
Dev,
not smart
Professor
enough.
Punchmade
Yeah.
Dev.
Wait. So when did they approach you?
Harvard?
Yeah.
You know what? A Harvard student actually hit me up to want to do an interview with me. I
All right,
don't know
that
what it
makes
was going to be
sense.
about. So,
So you didn't do it.
yeah. I would have, though, if I could have did it in Harvard. I was like, I'll do it if we can do it in Harvard. It was just a Harvard student. I guess he wanted to do a project on
Okay.
me or something. Yeah.
All right. So it wasn't them asking you to teach a class.
No.
Okay.
Teach a
Okay.
class about what?
How to prevent fraud?
Ethical business practices.
Yeah. I don't know. That would be interesting though. Professor Punchmade Dev coming in there like, all right, today.
Wearing a Reaper chain with its lights on.
Oh my God. When did you get into rapping?
I mean, I made like some songs when I was like 13, but I wasn't really, when I really got into it was 2018, I think. Yeah.
What made you? Because like for people out there who haven't seen your music, like you rap about like how to scam and stuff like that. Like it's very on brand.
Yeah.
It's not the only thing you rap about. But
That wasn't what I was rapping about back then.
what were you rapping about back then?
I can't remember, just regular shit.
How can you not
Typical.
remember all these things? By the way, have you listened to much of his music? Some of
I
it is the
listened to a
most
little bit.
heinous
Yeah.
crimes against humanity that you can picture.
Yeah, it's-
Written into a rhyme form.
Right.
It's
art.
excellent.
It's art.
Yeah.
Can't be used in a court against you in certain states.
Especially if it's not true.
Right.
Allegedly.
None of it's true.
Yeah.
But so in 2018, you started getting heavy into it. Like why?
Because I was still doing 2K. So I was a 2K YouTuber still. And then, but 2K18, that game was just like, that's when they started falling off. So
2K fell
yeah,
off?
Yeah, the game was just garbage. I was like, there's no way I'm going to do a whole year of this in YouTube. So then randomly, I just privated all my videos and started rapping.
And it kind of blew up. Do you think eventually because of the other stuff you were doing though?
What, the...
Alleged scamming?
No, that wasn't big. I'm telling you, nobody really knew it was me for real. That wasn't
They
like a
didn't know it
big
was
thing
you.
back then. Yeah, like me saying this now is gonna be a surprise to people. That wasn't like a known thing back then.
Had you ever like, you were obviously publicly a rapper when you guys made a video together, but had you discussed that publicly at any point before then? Before you made the video with Tommy? Like
Discuss what?
Like the scamming aspects?
Like with him?
Yeah. Before you did that video with him, had you ever discussed that with anyone like on a video?
Oh, nah.
So that was the first time.
Yeah,
Were you nervous to do that?
a little bit. I was glad I did it though, but some people was telling me not to do it. Yeah, I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it. But then after that, a bunch of other people and other YouTubers hit me up trying to do the same thing. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna redo it or rerun. And our piece is too legendary. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just did another one with Brandon that you're gonna see.
Oh, good.
Brandon
I love
Buckingham,
Brandon.
and it's crazy.
fucking man.
No, this one's crazy. I had a junkie go in the store, and I'm not even going to spoil it.
You had a junkie go in the store.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Were you doing it like the True TV, like outside with the mic, with the fucking walkie-talkie, like now tell him this?
Nah, I was in there. You're gonna see.
Okay.
This one's crazy though. Yeah.
When's that coming out? Do we know?
I don't know. I gotta ask him. Probably soon though.
Brandon films a lot of content. That's
He'll
why
film
I
like
asked.
72 videos
Dude.
ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had. I think he had 71 or something in the bank like 3 months
That's
ago.
an absurd amount of videos.
I'm
in
like,
the
dude,
bank.
what are you gonna do with all that?
I don't even got that much unreleased songs.
Yeah,
Shit, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. So where were you filming with him?
Down here in New York.
So you came into town to do scamming.
Yeah.
But teach
To
how
show
to
him.
do
Yeah.
scamming.
Yeah. Nah. That's yeah.
Did you guys like rent out a warehouse that you turned into a bank again? That kind
Nah,
of
we
thing.
was just going around. The police kicked me out the store and everything. It's crazy. I don't even want to spoil the video, but yeah, it's crazy. Police kicked us out. They were looking for me. Randomly, a junkie spawned in, and she hit a play.
Spawned in?
She just spawned in. She hit a play. We was getting free food, free toothbrushes, free iPads. Yeah.
You catch a charge? Like
Nah.
no?
I didn't
You're
do it. I tell you,
good.
the
You
junkie
are
spawned in and did it.
You are real good at dodging. I gotta tell you.
You should be a politician, dude.
Yes.
Huh?
You'd make
That's
a
what they
good
do?
politician. Yeah. Somehow, like
I can dodge everything.
you're dodging bullets, you're dodging charges, you're dodging things you're talking about out loud that they still don't get you on.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Yeah. It's a smart way to do everything.
We got off it though after the shooting. The reason we got into that is because I'd been asking you like why you started like
Oh yeah.
getting religious.
Have you ever played a Ouija board?
I've never actually played a Ouija board.
Do you
no.
think it's real or fake?
I'd be inclined to say it's fake.
Do you think it's fake too?
Come on, dude.
It's
a
not
Ouija board.
fake, bro. It's not fake.
Do you
I
think
swear to
Ouija
God.
boards are real?
So
I'ma
a
tell
Ouija
you what
board
happened.
led you into Catholicism?
Yes, please do tell.
Okay, so I always believed in God and Jesus, right? Then one day we was just bored and decided to just play the Ouija board. So I was playing it with a friend.
After the shooting.
This might have been, yeah, no. This might have been before that.
Okay, so
But the shootings were the thing that solidified it.
right. Okay.
And then when I started believing in God, then everything good started happening. I always believed in him when I started taking it more serious. But yeah, so I was playing the Ouija board with a friend. We were doing that. And then one day I played it by myself and it was still doing the same shit. And I was like, bro, there's literally shit here that we can't see. And then that's when I was like, God has to be real. I always believed, but I was like, God has to be real because there's shit we can't see. Play it by yourself then. I swear to God.
We should play this clip when he becomes Pope one day and we see how he did his journey to the top of the papacy.
It's just because there's actually shit here that we can't see that exists for sure. I don't know. You gotta. I used to think it was fake too. I used to be just like you. I'm like, that shit's not real. And then I played it with a friend. I was like, he probably was moving it. Then I played it by myself. And I
But
was
you
like,
found like God in that. That's what's interesting. A lot
yeah.
of people.
Well, I
it's
always
like
had
the
God, but it was
opposite.
like, yeah, no. And then I was like, because there's stuff here we can't see. And I was like, it's 100%.
I feel like most people go to Jesus, they come to him in a rock bottom place where when they're at their lowest point,
Yes.
Jesus or God reaches out to them and they feel this connection. But he did it with ghosts and Ouija boards.
Right, but that's.
I didn't know that
before.
was bad back then either. I didn't know that was like demonic or like weird,
Right.
like black magic. I didn't know that at the time. I just didn't know.
Right, Alessi's our resident God guy. Is that like not? He's like big into Jesus. Is that
Big Jesus
is
fan.
that not a thing? Like they don't fuck with Ouija boards.
No.
at
Well,
all, right?
Ouija boards essentially, the line of what the Pope and them will say is like that's demonic. It's mediums, and you shouldn't be interacting with trying to get in contact with the dead.
I agree. I didn't know that at the
It
time.
could be demons or something like that.
It's always demons.
I take a little bit nuance where I think when you do these things, I think more than likely it's bad, but you open yourself up to different dimensions and things. It's kind of like the same thing with psychedelics because
Yeah.
there's profound benefit
mhm.
when you open yourself up to that, but at the same time you don't know what else you're letting into your world.
Definitely all bad, I feel like. I don't know.
I think it's all bad, but I've also seen such profound effects on people where it impacts them, and it's like it could just be deception. That's the biggest thing the devil does is deception.
yeah.
So it could be like, oh, we can have this miraculous healing here because the devil can do things like that, according to the
Yeah.
scripture. So what is that going to incline them to do? They might be like, oh, this is good, this is great, let's keep promoting this stuff. And what is that? It's just all deception. So
Yeah.
it's probably best not to do that stuff because it's bad.
Yeah,
But like I said, it's a weird line there.
definitely. Yeah.
Interesting. So you get exposed to like that idea of like, okay, this is like confirming that God's out there, and then the shooting happens, and you said that solidified it. Like you had said, you weren't worried about the other guys because they attacked you.
Yeah.
You were more worried about like what's gonna happen to me. Am I gonna get pinned with something here?
Yeah.
Like as part of that, like you're in a room alone with yourself, grappling with this, and you're like turning to God with that.
Nah. Like, what do you mean?
Like, is that where you really like took?
Well,
him
nah.
in-
Like after that happened, I wasn't like just straight like, oh, that was God. It's just like, well, after like a couple days after, I was like, that was like close type shit. So I was like, yeah, that was close. And then I was just taking it more serious, and like I was coming across this other YouTuber who was like just like educating you about the Bible and the scriptures. And then when I started taking that more serious, then that's when my life started getting like much better. Like I started getting way more money, better relationships, better person, going to the gym and shit. So
Who is that YouTuber?
his name's Mark the Messenger. Yeah,
You know who that is?
No.
Never heard of him.
yeah. So
Was your mom like religious too, or
no, nobody is.
no one is?
Yeah,
So you just kind of did this on your own.
Yeah, I don't really know where they stand with that, but I know I take it more serious than everybody in my family.
But does it also make you like, now that you learn more about it as you go, does it make you look back on certain things? I'm not even just talking about scamming or anything,
Yeah.
but just like lifestyle or decisions you made in the past and be like, damn, that was wrong, and I should have known that was wrong.
Nah, because I didn't know no better, and I wouldn't regret it either because all the bad decisions and good decisions led me to finding it. And, yeah.
All right, so this is interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
That line, which is always some subset of, I don't have any regrets because it made me the person I am today.
Yeah.
It can be fair, but it can also be used to constantly explain away things you're going to do next. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
like an excuse?
Yes.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Preemptive excuse. Do you ever think about that?
Nah, I mean the way I think about it is just like I mean, there's no reason to dwell on what you already did, so it's like you can't really regret it. You gotta just do better in the future, I guess.
But like, all right, so you don't feel bad, for example, for the guys who are driving 3 hours to get pussy that you're scamming, and I understand that. But like,
I
other
mean, I know
people
it's wrong. Yeah.
Yes, it's still
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
that
not
it's
saying it's not
wrong, yeah.
wrong, but I'm saying like then there's other people who you're just hypothetically taking their hard-earned money off them because they think they're getting a PS5 or something, and you don't feel
Yeah.
bad about that.
I don't know why I don't, but I should feel bad about it.
So you know you should feel bad
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it, but you don't.
Only because it's already said and done. So it's like, why would I sit here and feel bad about it?
Mm.
Just don't do it in the future, I guess.
Well, that's halfway. Yeah, that's something. You're interesting psychologically. I can't really
Yeah.
put my finger on it.
I feel like I have a strong mindset.
You definitely have a strong mindset, but like
He's a super villain who's a pretty good guy.
that's one way to put it. I don't know. I have so many different people in here who come from all walks of life, all different shit, good,
Yeah.
bad, and different, whatever it is. But you can usually like after a while put your finger on what makes someone tick. But I still haven't put my finger on that with you. Pause.
Okay.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
One thing I want to know from your perspective, Dev, is the emergence of this YN culture, which for all the white guys in the room, can
Yeah.
you say what YN stands for?
Young.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's this new culture that seems to be emerging. It's this kind of nihilistic, risk-taking, nothing good is happening in the world, so I'm going to get mine mentality. And a lot of these guys are your fans, because I know when
Yeah.
I did this entrepreneurship course in Milwaukee Middle School, where every Tuesday morning I come in early, and a bunch of eighth grade boys would come in, and we talk entrepreneurship. And some of them, I saw them on Instagram because they messaged me. It was like Punchmade Dre, Punchmade this, and I'm like, oh man. So okay, I kind of see the way they're gravitating, and they were laughing about scamming grandmas and stuff. How do you diagnose the current young gangster YN culture in America that's emerged?
Like, how do I feel about it?
How do you feel about it, and what do you make of it? Like, why are these kids coming to this reckless, nihilistic level?
It's just like it's just the music and like who like they're making everybody look up to. I don't. It's really the rappers and everything and the music, and it just keeps getting. It's just social media. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
Do you ever think though that like some of the messaging that's like pushed hard and some of like drill rap and other things like that creates a like continuous cycle and self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah, it's because I feel like a lot of those kids like a lot of people can do better for themselves, but like say like you grow up like on the south side of Chicago, right? You already spawned in with just a whole side that doesn't like you. But say I want to be a square and work a job and just be regular. I'm not even gonna be able to do that because the person next to you or your brother or your cousins out here doing shit to them, the other side. So then it's literally a risk for me to go to work and get a regular job.
Right.
I feel like. And then
Who did you look up to like when you were growing up? Like whether it be people you know or people you didn't know that were like heroes of yours or whatever, like who did you look up to?
I don't really have like a single person I looked up to.
Mm.
I mean, I just like would just pay attention to like athletes, like NBA and NFL players. But I don't know if I really looked up to them.
Was your dad around?
Nah.
Did you ever know him?
Nah. So I was just figuring shit out on my own.
Do you know what happened to your dad or?
Nah.
Does that bother you?
Nah, it doesn't.
Never has.
Nah.
So you never were bothered not having a dad around growing up?
Nah, because I don't know what it's like to have one. So it's like, how could it bother me? That's like, I don't know.
Because
I feel like I came out just fine.
You're getting there. How old are you? 23?
24? Yeah.
Okay. You got time.
Yeah, I still got a lot of learning to do for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm on a better route than a lot of other people.
Probably. Yeah. You seem to be doing okay for yourself. Like, but were you really close with your mom?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
And you're not close with her today?
Nah, I should be though. I do love my mom, but nah.
You should be. This is it. You keep saying like you should be on certain things. It's I've never heard someone put it like that. It's like they're aware of it, but they're like, I'm still not gonna do it.
No, I'm gonna do it. I don't know.
But you were never close with her growing up.
Nah, I'll just be staying to myself.
Did you have siblings?
Yeah,
How many?
2.
You close with them?
Nah, I should be though.
Would you classify yourself as kind of a lone wolf?
Nah, cause I have a bunch of friends that I hang out with every day.
So why don't you think you were close with your immediate family?
I don't really know. I feel like we're just different. I don't know.
Just a lack of communication in a way?
Yeah.
Do you think they care about you and love you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
So there's love there.
It's really
between all
me.
you
It's
guys.
me. It's me. That's the problem.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because like you're totally aware of it.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, no, it's on me.
I don't know. It's just I gotta just break the barrier down, get close with everybody.
Was your mom like working a lot when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
She's in the army.
She's in the army.
Yeah, she was.
I would not have guessed that. Okay. So she's still in the army now? You said was.
Nah, she was. Yeah, she retired.
How long was she there?
Like 20 years, 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So pretty much like
That's why I
during your
moved
whole
everywhere.
childhood.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. So were you born by Fort Bragg?
I was born in Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, it's crazy you know that.
Well, you said North Carolina can only mean one thing.
Yeah.
She's in the military.
Yep.
All right. And then Kentucky, were you like around the base again? Or?
Well, so I moved to, what do you mean?
Well, because she was in the army and you were always moving around. Like, is she
Oh.
moving from base to base?
Oh,
or?
yeah. So we was in North Carolina. I think I was just born there. I don't think I really lived there. Then we moved to Louisville. Then we moved to Hawaii.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were in Hawaii too?
Yeah, I did like my whole elementary school in Hawaii.
What was that like?
Like paradise. Everybody there is so nice and shit. And then I moved to Houston. And then the city I lived in Houston was a very wealthy city too. Well, Hawaii wasn't. Hawaii people are just naturally nice. And then Houston, everybody had money that I lived by.
Where were you living?
League City.
Oh, I think my buddy Eric might live there actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been down there.
So yeah, the schools, everything was good. And then I moved to Lexington. And it was just a little ghetto. And then that's when like real life kind of set in. Then
What do you mean real life set in?
like just like I seen all types of people. Like in Hawaii, it's just like Hawaii. It's like their own like little world.
Yeah.
Then Houston, where I lived in League City, a bunch of suburban people. And then Lexington is where it's like suburban, ghetto, all type of shit.
It's kind of hard because like in some ways you're never able to form like a one identity. You know what I mean? Because you're spending time across like such a diverse, different subset all the time. So you're trying to like at the same time you got to learn how to take care of yourself. That part's making sense. You got to learn how to be independent, make new relationships to like, you know, get around, I guess, and like be a part of the society you're around. But you never get a chance to like kind of set your feet and be a part of one culture.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like I've seen every coach. Like I've seen like
Yeah.
rich kids, poor kids. So I feel like I can understand both sides really good.
But did that also form attitudes towards both? Like going back to the quote where you're like, take from the poor so that I'm rich. Like, does that also come from you saw how, and I'm putting words in your mouth here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe you saw how like the rich could take advantage of people and you're like, oh, that's how they get ahead. And then you'd see the poor get taken advantage of and you're like, oh, don't want to be that because that's how they get behind. Like,
I feel like
is
I
any
just
of that
understand
playing?
them. I just understand. Nah, it doesn't really. I don't really think of it like that. But I can understand both sides. Like I feel like.
You can understand both sides.
Like I can see where they're coming from. I can see where the other people's coming from.
like what gets them to where they are.
Yeah,
saying?
I feel like I feel like they just misunderstand each other so much.
Right.
Like the poor people and the rich people are just like the races. They all just misunderstand each other.
How do they meaning like they're almost marketed to be at odds with each other in a way?
Yeah, I feel like, but not but there's like they do to make that excuse. Like I feel like a lot of people say like black people like they just start off with no like they seem like the system's against them. When a little bit it could be, but for the most part I feel like they just be making excuses.
Really?
Because like all right, look, even I could come to somebody right now and be like, all right, do this for me, and you'll make $5,000, and they'll still be too lazy to do it or won't do it. So it's just like them type of people I don't really feel bad for.
But also, what if is there a difference between going to someone with an opportunity economically that's legal versus illegal in your mind? Like if you're coming to them like, oh, I got this like latest scam coming up, and they're like, fuck that. Like they kind of should be like, fuck that, no?
Yeah, but then I'll go to a person like that with something like that might be shady, And then they'll say no because they're lazy, but then they'll do something else shady anyway. So it's like you might as well just make money out of it. I don't know.
Was your mom like being with an army background? Was she strict?
No.
What do you got? No.
No, not at all. Yeah, I know a lot of people think that she wasn't strict at all though.
I mean, that's kind of the stereotype.
I mean, she would try to make sure I get like good grades, and she makes sure I'm always organized and stuff. So it wasn't strict like you can't leave the house or do nothing or do this.
Did you get good grades?
Yeah, like in like elementary and middle school was decent, and in high school I was like, this is just bullshit.
Yeah, because you seem to have like you don't like authority at all.
Authority? Yeah. What do you like? Which way?
Are you a fan of the NYPD?
I don't have nothing against them, cause like if something happens, my mom's gonna call the police and she's gonna need them, so I can't have. There's bad cops and good cops. Yeah, but I feel like for the most part they're good, but some is shady too.
But you don't even like getting away from like a stereotypical like law enforcement or whatever. Like you don't like people telling you what to do.
They can tell me. I would take if they know what they're talking about. Like if you was like the biggest real estate person in the world and you were telling me to do something, then I would take your advice.
That could get you personal gain though. But like as far as like,
just tell me what to do in general. I mean, if it's for the better, I don't know. It depends what you're telling me what to do.
You're not because you're clearly like a really smart guy, and
I never got in trouble in school either.
Were you
never got in trouble
No,
even
never,
in high school?
No, I only had one ISS.
What's
or
an
detention.
ISS?
Detention, basically.
Okay.
I only had one. I never got in trouble. I never skipped school. I was not a troublemaker.
Would your coaches in sports say that you were a coachable guy?
Yeah.
Like you'd run through a brick wall for your coaches?
I don't know about that, but I was coachable though.
It's like there's a line.
I'm not a crash dummy, but I listen to people if I know if I feel like they got my best interest.
So that's what I'm saying though. Like you did well in school, in elementary school, middle school. You're younger. You're kind of going through the motions, doing
like average. Yeah.
Okay. But then you get to high school and you thought it was dumb. Is it because the people who are teaching it, whatever you...
It's just like there's no way I'm ever going to use Algebra 1 or nothing. Like, that's the history. I'll research that on my own time when I feel like I need to. And then, I don't know, like science, I still never use that either.
Science is pretty important.
All of them classes is dumb. I feel like we just need to go up until, freshman year. After freshman year, I feel like everything's dumb.
There's things I will say this. There's stuff that I thought was so fucking dumb when I was in high school that later I'm like, Like, I still, as far as I know, haven't used Pythagorean's theorem anywhere, but I know it exists. I know it is important for someone somewhere to fucking use it. But then there's other things with, like, science. Like, I fucking hated physics in high school. I'm like, what is this shit, right? And the teacher was actually pretty good, too. It wasn't my thing. And now, like, physics is in fucking everything. And I'm so fascinated by it. And I think part of it is, like...
But that's because you like it, though. You don't need it to live life. I feel like they just feed you a bunch of just general information that you don't need just to, like, keep you kind of, like, middle ground.
But that's all physics right there.
Yeah, but if a person... That's what I'm saying, though. If somebody wants to build that, they should be able to take... I shouldn't be forced to learn shit I don't want to learn.
I see.
We should have, like, you know, like, I feel like they
more
feed you a bunch...
education?
Yeah, they just feed you a bunch of information just so you're just, like, a robot, basically. Because, like, I worked one job in my life, and it just felt like just like school. So I'm like, damn. So that's what it was at Home Depot.
Oh, you worked at that's my favorite store.
Yeah, my lawyer made me to do it to help my case, the robbery one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Go work at Home Depot.
Yeah.
That'll get the judge every time.
You didn't take anything while you were there, did you?
Nah.
That's good.
It was only for like a month.
It was a month.
Yeah.
It's a long month for you.
Yeah, I got fired. Yeah.
You got fired.
That was way before rapping anything.
What'd you get fired for?
So I was with I met a friend there, and he showed me all the loopholes. Like, all right, you can take a longer break. You can take a break for like an hour, and then he showed me all that shit. And then we would get in, and if you come late, like you got instead of punching the clock, you gotta write it down or whatever because the system it won't pick up in the system. So like we'll come in late, like we was legitimately coming in late or whatever, and writing our stuff on the system, or writing on the paper, and the supervisor was taking it and hiding it and saying he doesn't see it and give us less hours for what we work for. So my other friend got on his ass, and then somehow his tires got slashed. And then...
Wait, the supervisor?
Yeah.
Somehow?
Somehow. It wasn't me. It wasn't him either. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
It wasn't the person I was with either. Yeah, so... And then... the next day, or like the next couple of days, and they're like, yeah, you gotta go.
Did they know you were there because you had like a court thing going on too?
Because it'll pop up on the background check.
Right. So you had a
I was like, yeah,
tight leash there already.
Did you have an ankle monitor?
Nah, no
That's
ankle
good.
monitor. Yeah,
Have you ever had an ankle monitor?
nope. I don't get in trouble for real.
You're good at dodging, for sure. Real quick, I gotta go to the bathroom, but we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Tommy, what were you just saying?
Hood videos are becoming almost impossible to do right now.
Why?
And that used to be our forte. And if you look at the last 3 months, I think we've only done one video in the hood. And there's a few reasons. One is we're starting to get this phenomenon where we show up to a shoot and there's 9 vloggers, there's 30 other people standing by, and it's like there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's becoming it doesn't there's not an authentic feel anymore. Like I don't want to stage a shot, I don't want to set up. I just like when we rolled up on Squeeze Ben's, he just was there. We instantly are starting to film. Like even a couple times with these car guys, like there's so many people in the background, so many vloggers that it's like, hey guys, can we move the 20 people over here and we got to start? And I just want things to be as natural as possible. But the other thing is there's an unreliability factor working with the hood sometimes that is so hard to overcome. I had these, I won't say which gang, but a very well-known gang out in Vegas, one out in Los Angeles. Each time, hey, we set this up months in advance. Even when I was coming to New York, I had 2 different projects we were going to come to and go through them and interview these guys. Tell them a month in advance. Put it on your calendar. This is when we're doing it. Follow up with them a week before, 4 days before, and then the day of. Oh, I'm out in Connecticut. Can we do it there? Or
that's so annoying.
the guys aren't ready yet. What do you mean they're not ready yet? We had 2 months to organize this, and I don't mind the transition because we're getting into a lot more investigative pieces about cults or corrupt mayors or things like that. But it was our bread and butter of the channel for a long time, and it's amazing to me how much more difficult it's becoming to work there.
Part of the problem, and it's not your fault, it's just that you've gotten so big too that you're now a guy that people look at as clout, right? So when
Clout lords, dude.
when you were first doing it though, it was like this totally organic thing. You're going in, you're getting the story, and then all those things blow up. Video with you blows up, video with the drivers blow up, you know, all these different, and then the one in St. Louis, like all this stuff. So now all these people hit you up and they're like, oh, Tommy G's coming. And they all want to pull up with their people. And then sometimes they're just hitting you up and they don't even have a plan of like what this is actually going to look like. They just want to know like, oh, Tommy G's coming to film with us. And they might fuck you over, like you said.
It feels weird because I would rather be completely unknown and just get in and be able to hit the story so smoothly. Like it's
Right.
I think becoming a bigger platform in some ways is a blessing because there's so many more doors that are getting opened up right now. Like my close ratio of whoever I'm hitting up, whether it's a billionaire or a car thief, it doesn't matter. In between, like the close rate is a lot higher because we have a platform, but there's a lot more unintended consequences that come with it that are, I take it, like, part of me is, hey, take it as a compliment. The fact that people even want to show up or do their own vlog of you, I get it, and I'm happy that people even think that I'm worth talking to in a way, but I'd rather just be that smooth criminal that rolls in undercover, hits the story, boom, I'm out.
Yeah.
What made you want to do the video with Tommy back when it came up? Like, why him?
I could just tell he was genuine and not like,
Yeah.
I know, like police games or just like, if I asked him not to ask me something or take some out the video, I feel like he would. I could just tell he's a good guy.
Who asked who again to do this? Did you ask?
I hit you up, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think within 30 minutes we were on the phone.
Yeah, facts.
Because I just saw this. I was seeing all the pictures of him outside ATMs with stacks of cash like this high, and I was just like, I can't believe this guy is out. He's a real life GTA character, and
Yeah.
I like to interview those type of guys.
But you're a lot calmer than a GTA character. I gotta give you that. You're not you're not shakeable.
You know, strategic.
Right. You're not running around fucking beeping at chicks and having their fucking titties fall out and then hitting them with a baseball bat. That's
Oh,
not
wait
you.
till the Brandon Buckingham video.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, another side coming out.
Nah, that video is crazy, yeah. You might see some titties.
And you don't know when it's coming, you said.
Nah, I gotta hit him up. I edited my version already.
Oh, you have a version.
Yeah, because I'm vlogging too, so.
Right. Darius is out there filming all the... Okay. So you're going to like simultaneously drop it together?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for him. I want him to drop it first, and I'll drop after.
Yeah. Tommy, you brought it up, though. What's going on with our dear friend Tiffany Henyard? The very first time you were in here, you had just dropped that first video with her back in February/March 2024. And now you went back and did another video with her as she was about to be voted out. Is that right?
Well, first, I can't even believe that she let us go film with her.
Yeah. Can you tell people who she is?
So Tiffany Henyard is the notorious super mayor of Dolton, Illinois. She has gone on spending sprees. She lives basically a first-class, lavish lifestyle off of her taxpayer. And it went from being her county or her city was in a $4 million surplus before she took office to now it's in a $4 million deficit. There was an $8 million swing. And it's because she's living like a third world crime lord, really. And she's just one of these characters that you could confront her about the most plain fact. Like, for example, renting these or buying these Tahoes at an egregious price. That's not me. I take out her signature. I wore a purple suit for this. It was a very important story. Take out my purple suit, present the paperwork of her own signature, and she's like, that wasn't me. And so she just is this legendary criminal mayor.
It could be an auto pen, Tommy. I hear they're using those these days.
I hear she might have to look into that. But Chicago is already a place that's famous for its corruption.
Yeah.
And to the fact that now we're talking in May and she still hasn't gotten swooped in on by the feds, I'm actually really surprised. I thought it was going to be happening somewhere by mid-April. And
she lost the election after you filmed with her, right? It was right after?
We filmed the day of the election.
Oh, you
and
did?
then released it after.
She had you come film on the day of the election?
We filmed once with her 2 or 3 weeks before the election, and then we filmed again the day of the election. We covered the drama in the town, and she lost in a landslide.
Yep.
And thank God, because when I was talking to her, she's such a good manipulator that I almost wondered if I had gotten everything wrong about her, because she exists in this whole other reality bubble where I started to wonder, like, is this lady the next Mother Teresa? Like, I wasn't fully fooled by her, but part of me was like, was I too harsh with this lady or what?
You were dancing with her. I was getting worried. I saw that video. I was like, Tommy, what happened, bro?
People thought that I got swooped, but that's the thing about, I would say in a way she's a cult leader. She's a cult leader that ran a town.
Yeah.
And when you're meeting with people like that, when you see all the stories about them, you assume they're going to be evil, they're going to be bad. Most of these people are very charismatic and likable, and that's part of their charm, and that's how they function.
That's right.
And so seeing her, how she planted the day. Hey, I'm going to go door knocking. Door knocking is when you hit the entire street and canvass the voters. Hey, I'm Tiffany Henyard. Do you want to vote for me? She would pick people that got free stuff from her, and we'd go talk to them, and they'd sing their praises for her. So
he's like, yeah, I approve.
To me, she's just an amazing character to see in history, because they emerge every once in a while, and the fact that we got our hands on her and got to profile her story, just like Dev, like to in a moment of history when scamming was at this crazy internet sensation, that to be able to be there in that moment and profile that person, to me, is being in the right place at the right time and the universe opening up doors for you.
Didn't you feel like I was a terrible person at first?
Before I got to you, I'm like, this guy's such a piece of shit. Like,
and during the video too, right?
You were doing things that definitely deserved hard questions.
Yeah. I feel like he wasn't fucking with me, and then after.
But now you like him.
Oh, no, I really like him.
Yeah, we're good friends.
You know, there's a lot of people that you make assumptions about based off of the internet story or based off of what they do. I don't know. I've talked to killers that I like. I've talked to gun dealers I like.
You like.
Yeah.
There's what kinds of killers?
Block shooters, guys that are the guy on their team that if someone needs to get tagged, that they're the ones that say, I'm going to play the game.
Yeah, I mean, they be likable. They just be goofy and regular.
They'd be goofy and regular and shooting.
They have a lot of fun, yeah. But
you'd be surprised at how nice and how much hospitality a killer can treat you with.
Super loyal, too.
Yeah, like I have some of these guys, like there's a couple guys in the Latin Kings where I know what they've done. There's even video footage of some of their actions. He calls me up and he's extremely nice. Hey, gang, how you doing? How's your family doing? How's your son doing?
Do you think that is the side of humanity that they have? Because we're talking about like the worst types of things now, right? Is that a side of humanity they have, or do you think that's a side of sociopathy they have that allows them to play that role?
I don't think people are one-dimensionally evil often. I think that's a rare character that you find. Most people, like even if you talk about profiling cartel stories. You think it's this guy always beheading people and doing crazy stuff, but then you go to his family house. He's cooking, like they're cooking in the family. They have a kid's birthday party. There's a piñata up in a tree, and there's a very normal family function happening. But when dad goes to work, he does unspeakable things.
Yeah.
So I know that there's also, I'm providing value to them. So of course they're going to go out of their way to be nice to me. Like I'm sure if I didn't have a YouTube platform, sure, I'd probably get a different experience. But even without YouTube, I think if you were to treat these guys kindly, even some of these shooters, they are hoping for love. Like they want connection to people. So many guys, even in their own gang, like when push comes to shove and they're the ones that go to jail, their gang isn't really putting money on their commissary, doing anything.
They never
for the
do.
books.
They never do.
And you've seen this with some of your guys that you've hung out with Chicago. He was a certified threats all over Chicago for the last year. You built some really good relationships.
Yeah.
As soon as something happens, this gang disappears. And so if you're the guy that actually shows them love and maintains a relationship with them, they're very loyal to you.
Definitely.
So you don't. I think the thing in different ways that you and I run into doing what we do is like we get to know people really well, right? I have people come in here, sit with me for hours on end. You go to where people are and you're talking with them, seeing their life, whatever, seeing all the good sides of them as well. And I struggle with this a lot where you run into it where everyone can show you their best self or show you that they have the capability to be their best self. And as someone who like loves people, I want to always see the good side. And I want to be like, you know what, that guy's all right. But I also have to find a way to try to be objective to where like when someone really is often doing bad stuff. Like if you were still coming in here and doing all these scams all the time, you'd walk out of here and I'd have to be like, man, I really like Dev, but he's still a scumbag.
You just got to be able to read people. I feel like you've talked to enough people too. Like I feel like I'm really good at reading people too. I can know when they're putting on like a fake front. Like,
what do you think do you think that's from like having to be around so many different types of people?
yeah, like
up?
just moving around everywhere and having so many different friends and seeing so many, and then hearing their stories, talking to them, hearing their friends' story. I feel like I've seen and like heard so much. Like I can just look at somebody, talk to them for like 5 minutes, and kind of know exactly how they are.
I think you're also striking me like watching you when you came in here today for a while before we're getting on camera. You're a listener. You're listening to what everyone else is saying. You're not one of these
I
guys
gotta peep the scene first.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that one of the laws of power is to stay silent and to observe?
Probably, yeah. I can't remember. I read that book, but
I've read it too.
Yeah.
Hard read. It's too Machiavellian for me.
It's heavy.
It looks at every person as if they're trying to manipulate you, or like I talked to this billionaire guy and
Tadla?
yeah, and I saw his book on the between the podcast table. It was 48 Laws of Power. I'm like, not you. You can't like.
That's not a good book.
No.
That's not a good book.
It's not a roadmap of how to treat people or build relationships.
It's an evil book.
It's
a cautionary tale, similar to how Dev is. He's graciously out of the goodness of his heart providing advice to people to protect themselves.
Yeah.
That's a book you read and you're like, okay, this is how to protect people.
graciously out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what? I just realized it, Alessi. I'm never going to unsee this. Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Jalen-
You
okay.
even carry yourself like the same way, like quiet, can't
Oh,
really
yeah.
tell the emotions, what's going on. Like you do the same thing with your lips and everything. Like when you're done making a point, like I'm not telling you where I stand. I'm never gonna unsee that. Holy shit.
He's a basketball player, right?
Oh my god.
Oh, gosh.
Get the
Football,
fuck out.
right?
Get
No,
the
he's
fuck
football.
out.
He's the quarterback for the.
For the Eagles.
Okay.
The Super Bowl
I
champion.
don't be watching too much sports either.
The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles in this household. To you, Tommy G.
God bless Philadelphia.
Oh, you're an Eagles fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in South Jersey.
Nice.
Yeah.
You
I'm a
look like
Bears
you
fan.
grew up in South Jersey.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
I said South Jersey is a beautiful location.
It is a great location. New Jersey's a great location. Yeah, if we like when he talks,
I could see
though,
that.
When he talks, like he's so no matter whether it's high or low, he's the same emotion every time, and he just kind of like does the littlest smirk at you at the end of everything.
Yeah, a little
he
bit of
says.
a
And you're-
twitch right here.
I can't unsee that now. That's funny as shit. But Tommy, you're saying so when you were going in to do the video with Dev, you thought he was a terrible guy. Dev thinks while you're doing it, you still probably think he's a terrible guy. But then you become friends. What turns you? Like what made you be like, I like this guy?
You know what? That is a tough battle because, and similar, you talk to these spies that have done who knows what to people overseas,
yeah.
but you'll have them over here 7 times. You'll go out to eat with them. You'll hang out with them. It's one of those things where if I met a guy that was stealing my car, I'd want to just kill him or choke him out, or but because it's not happening to me, there's no personal animosity. And also, I think people just have, especially when it comes to making money, people have they're dialing on their way of making money, but outside of that, there's a different side of themselves that they show that is redeemable. Even the car thieves. You know, okay, you go out every night. We were just with these guys at 1 a.m. in a hospital parking lot last night that had a Hellcat. Piece of shit, but I bet if I caught you at a burger restaurant, we were just having a meal around a table, I bet I'd have a good time with you. And I've come to realize about most people. Most people, I think.
But that doesn't necessarily make them good.
No, these aren't guys that I would invite to my son's first birthday party.
What about me? I could come, right?
I'll have to get my representative at Chase to see if they approve the visit. But yeah, Dev could come to my house. I also know that my wallet's not going to be missing when Dev comes to my house.
You do know that.
I'm 99.9%.
Because I never met you before, so I can tell you everything was hidden this morning. I've never had to do that before. Well, Matt
Are
Cox.
you serious?
Yeah, Matt Cox, I did that when I was still in my parents' house and Matt was coming for the first time. I hid some of my dad's credit cards and stuff.
Damn.
You know Matt Cox?
No.
You
Is
never
he a
heard of Matt
scammer?
Cox? No. You and Matt Cox need to do a podcast together.
He's a scammer?
Yeah, can we pull up Matt Cox's Wikipedia?
I know Bernie Madoff.
Was he one of the most famous?
Matt Cox is my friend who, I swear to God, is reformed. That was his FBI most wanted poster. Let's go to the Wikipedia page.
Was
It's
he on
long.
meth?
Or he did that on
No,
purpose?
he looks like he was, but
They took his worst mugshot and posted that.
Yes,
Police do that, by the
he
way.
actually.
Are you serious? They told you that?
I took a mugshot photo one time that I thought was gonna be badass, and then I looked at it and it was.
Ah.
I never released
Wait,
it.
what'd you try to do in the mugshot? Like me mug?
I think maybe I smiled because I was like, I'm gonna put this on a T-shirt and this is gonna be so sick, and I'm gonna sell some merch. The photo was so bad. I'm like, yeah, that idea's on the back burner.
Yeah.
He later took that picture because he was on the run from the FBI for like 3 years. He later took that picture and as a fine arts major in college, he majored in fine arts. He likes to say that. He made a new laminated, what is it? Like the lanyard or whatever for the Salvation Army and invented some position called like a statistical surveyor or something. And he would go up to homeless guys and say, all right, what's your name, social security number? With that picture, and they would give it to him, and then he would get their identities and be on the run. He was next level.
And what you guys share in some of the work you've done is really good social engineering skills.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Putting someone in a position where, like, if they're going to give you money, most people, if I just confront you directly, Julian, send me $500. No, you're not going to do it. But if I socially engineer a situation where you want to give me the money, like, hey, you think you're going to get something out of it, you think I'm legit. That's what a true scam artist is, or a con artist is they create an atmosphere that would something otherwise unbelievable becomes believable.
Yeah.
Would you concur with that?
Yeah.
Did you ever plot out how to do that, or was it just natural?
You'll just learn on the way. Like you'll suck at first, and then you'll learn on the way.
But you get better.
Yeah, you'll get
A
better.
little practice.
He's a finesser.
Yeah. Now Matt is his story is that he never committed a crime till he was 30 years old. And he was a mortgage broker with a wife and young kid at 30, and his boss whited out a number on one of his mortgages. He was like behind on his bills, and she's like, sorry, this mortgage that he had just negotiated isn't going to pass. And he was like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. She's like, no problem. So she took out whiteout and just changed a number. Like a small little, it's like a small form of fraud, but like it was something so small that, maybe you get fired for that, but you wouldn't get arrested. And he saw that and went, oh, shit. So what started as just changing a number very quickly he got creative and went all the way down the rabbit hole, and pretty soon was stealing identities, creating fake real estate empires all down in Florida. Finally, gets caught and decides to go on the run. He's on the run for 3 years. This is all a 6-year period. He's on the run for 3 years, got plastic surgery, the whole bit.
Are you serious?
From the FBI, gets caught, gets sentenced to 26 years in prison, goes into prison, becomes one of the most prolific dry snitches in the history of prison. He's very open about it. And, used any information he could to get the fuck out of there. He was at Coleman. And so, long story short, there was a lot of other crazy shit that happened, but he got his sentence down to 13 years, still did that whole thing. But while he was in prison, he's a brilliant guy. Like, Matt would have been great at anything he ever did. So he became an author, because he was in prison at Coleman, which was like the Ivy League of fucking crime. Like he had one of everything there. So these famous people were there, and he would write their books and like publish them even from behind bars. And one of the books he wrote was called Once a Gun Runner, about Ephraim DeVroley, which then Warner Brothers stole and made into the movie War Dogs.
Damn.
That was that book. And so Matt and Ephraim later sued each other, but also then at the same time were both suing Warner Brothers together for like misusing the whatever. But Ephraim was fucking crazy. Anyway, so Matt, the reason I bring this up is because he realized a couple things about himself they never knew. First of all, he was like 5'4", so he's got like short man's complex and everything. So he always had narcissistic tendencies, but he was diagnosed as like narcissistic megalomaniacal personality disorder. And he's very, that's what it's called, I guess. And he's very open about this and very self-aware of it. Like to the point, like I'm kind of proud of like how much he's like constantly keeping that in check, knowing what he could be capable of.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, not necessarily narcissistic like megalomaniacal personality disorder, but have you ever thought about you maybe being predisposed to having narcissistic tendencies or things like that that could lead you to potentially hurt other people without you realizing you're doing it?
So, like, what's really a narcissist? Like, somebody who just only cares about themselves?
In the simplest terms, I would say that's probably fair.
Nah, because I really help a lot of people around me.
You do help. How do you help a lot of people around you?
Just, like, I'll put them on to things, help them make money. If they're down on their last, help them out. Help people's moms out if they need help. Somebody goes to jail, help them with that. Yeah.
So
I will say one thing in his defense, too. He was one of the biggest donors to a wrestling charity I had.
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm. So you did. Where do you think that comes from? Putting other people on?
Cause, like I said, like growing up around everybody, I know like I can understand like where they come from. And I've seen all sides of life. I feel like in America, at least, I don't know. I've seen like the poor and the rich.
So you're okay in the past. You were hypothetically okay with doing things that you probably knew were wrong to get ahead.
Yeah.
And part of the way you justified it was what you might do with those means or the, I don't know, power.
Nah, I just did it for selfish reasons for sure. But what comes with that, I will help somebody if they need help. But I wasn't getting the money like I'm only getting this to help other people.
Is part of that like you never got any help and you wish other people would have helped you at different points of your life?
Nah, I mean, like help as in what?
I don't know, like you maybe felt alone and so you want other people to feel like you're looking out for them. You know what I mean? Like the things you didn't get. I'm just picking away at things here. I don't know.
I think I just feel for people. I can just understand. I don't know.
So would you say you have a lot of empathy?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Selective empathy. One thing I've learned with, I was talking to these Afghani guys in California that had done some high-level robbery of Chinese triad grow operations. And like it was like, if you're not in their circle, zero empathy, I'm out for my own gain. But in my circle, my family eats good. Would you say your mentality is kind of like that?
For the most part, yeah. For the most part. But I will help people on the outside too. But I don't know. You never know who you're helping out. So it's like you come out and like help the wrong person or they'll end up fucking you over or something.
Sometimes it's hard to help people too.
Oh, yeah.
Giving money to people is hard. There's a certain thing that I've learned where the receiver of help can sometimes resent the giver. And it adds a dynamic to the relationship that you wish you never entered into.
Yeah, definitely.
So you've run into that.
Yeah, like people just trying to take advantage of you or like then they end up being jealous or just getting like secret animosity because they feel like you're trying to little bro them or something. So yeah.
So what started as, hey, I'm going to help you, turns into a situation where they don't even like you anymore.
Yeah, and then they'll start feeling obligated. Yeah, they expect it. They'll start feeling obligated. Or like you give somebody an inch and then they'll start do way more. Like, they'll take it to the extreme. Like, so it's like, I've definitely learned a lot. I used to be way more helpful towards other people before, but now I just be knowing a lot of people just be like bullshitting or just, they don't want to help themselves. So why would I help them? They just want to take from me for the temporary moment. And then they're going to go back to the same and they ask me again for something.
I think you find that it's rare you're ever really going to help somebody with money. But where you really can help someone with is mentorship and knowledge. And that's the purest type of student-teacher relationship, or have taken someone under your wing. If they want to learn everything you know, they want to ask questions, they want to be in your shoes for as much time as they can and follow you around, that's a person that I feel like is going to take it for themselves and hopefully try and outshine you in the future, which is what every teacher wants of a student. But the people that just want resources again and again and don't change at all, that's the worst type of person to give to.
Yeah, but even those type of people, like, because that's what I'll do more. I don't really give out money. I'd rather teach you exactly what I'm doing, and I'll teach them that, and it will still be lazy or, like, half-ass do it, or, like, I don't know. Like, it got to be a certain person, like, that really wants it enough. And some people, you'll give your information to them, and then, like, they'll end up just, like, being in the way type shit. Like, you're not even using it to the fullest. Like, you don't want to better yourself or nothing. Like, you're just wasting it.
Do you think the world is automatically, I don't want to say this. Do you think there's always just going to be people who are inherently weak and people who are inherently strong? Or do you think everyone has the ability to be one or the other?
Everybody has the ability to be one or the other, but people just like being comfortable and it's just easier to be weak, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. A question I was thinking about on a jog yesterday was, what percentage of our suffering in life is self-imposed? And
a lot of it.
I think for most people, especially let's just call it United States, where we're not in a civil war or something crazy, like I'm not getting machete tribes visiting my village to cut us to pieces. Like, would you say most people in America, most of their suffering is self-imposed?
Definitely. I mean, some people grow up a certain way and their parents were a certain way, so sometimes they don't know no better, but even you could come to somebody like that, show me exactly how you did it, give them a step-by-step, and they'll still just be like, I'm good doing what I'm doing. I feel like it's definitely self-imposed. And people who are depressed and shit, like, they'll be depressed and fat, too. So it's like, bro, just go to the gym. If you just go to the gym every day, you don't even got to be skinny or nothing, but you'll feel better about yourself. You have to do something every day that builds yourself up.
Well, you are definitely, like, going through your life story and all the different steps of it, you're definitely a go-getter. Like, like, people don't have to tell you to go do something. If you get an idea, like, oh, I need to do this is what it could do for me, regardless of what the moral implications are along the way, like, you're able to do that. There's other people who, and I wonder about this sometimes, is it like the instant environment around them that they're raised in, or is it just they're kind of inherently born with that gene where they just don't have that and they don't do that, and they're like you said, they're gonna sit there and be comfortable and fucking miserable in many cases.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, some people, like, where they're born at, they don't see nobody else, like, do big things or, like, be a doctor or anything, so they feel like that's completely out of their, like, range of things. But then it's like, all right, the people they do see is, like, drug dealers and scammers.
Yes.
But they won't even do that either. Or they won't work a job either. It's like, I don't know. The opportunities they do get, they don't want to take.
Yeah. Sometimes, though, like, this is one of my, like, favorite topics to ponder on, like, nature versus nurture, environment versus, like, free will. There's a story I've told before on the podcast. My buddy Josh grew up in the Bronx, grew up in the projects of the Bronx. And what he was really lucky to have is that he had both parents at home, and they were fucking amazing parents. And his mom was actually a teacher at one of the local schools. So he was smart when he was coming up, and he was able to get into a program in 5th grade where basically he got into the high-level program, which then eventually allowed him to go to high school outside the city as well. So he got all these amazing opportunities. And he tells a story how the first time, like, he lived outside the city as a freshman in high school. The first time he came home, maybe it was Thanksgiving or winter break, whatever it was, he comes back to the Bronx, and when he gets back onto, like, a couple blocks away from his house, he sees coming up on the corner one of his buddies they grew up with. And right away, he knows he's part of the gang now, like, slinging drugs and whatever. And his buddy sees him coming and gets, like, a serious look on his face. Walks up to Josh, dabs him up. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? No, it's good to see you. Really glad to see you doing well. Like, he had a full understanding of what Josh was doing and how hard he was working and the opportunity he had. But he said to Josh, he said, now walk across the street and do not look back at me. Meaning, like, this 14, 15-year-old kid had a full understanding of, like, this is what my life is. This is my only option. This is what I can do. But I'm not going to pull my friend who's got the opportunity to be in something else down into this. Meaning, like, it was, like, such a selfless thing. But at the same time, it's like, what becomes of him? That's all, like, in his mind, that's the only option he had. And I'm not condoning, being in a gang and selling drugs or whatever, but I think about that a lot because I'm like, all right, he didn't quite get the opportunity. Josh
super
did,
hard too,
right?
That's how like Chief Keef did it, like how he made it out and just cut everybody off, and then because it's hard to cut everybody off too, like so.
I don't know much about that. He cut everybody off.
Yeah, so it's just like this. Imagine you're on the South Side, right? You already have like South Side Chicago, any hoods, but I'm gonna just use that one for an example. And it's like, all right, your only options is either that you think is go play sports or rap. So then you're not gonna make sports. So then you start rapping. You're finally getting a little bit of money, and everybody around you is like this with their hands out.
Yeah.
So then a little bit of money you do have, you can't use it to invest or nothing because you don't even know anything. You don't even know anybody in your family that's ever invested in anything. So you have nobody to ask. And then, or if you do try to reach out to somebody, they'll probably finesse you too. So you give all the money out to everybody, then you have nothing. Then you sign another deal, you might got more money, and then there's still more people asking. All right, but if you don't want to do that and you want to cut everybody off, it's hard to cut your family and friends off that you grew up with and that you're sleeping on the floor with, and like you literally starved with them. Like they might have gave you, like y'all literally shared food and everything, so it's hard. Either way, they're both hard, but I feel like the better option, I guess, you have to cut everybody off. I don't know.
These rappers will take a lot of guys with them that don't have any role to play on the team, and that's where they get drained. Like I saw a post from YTB Fat. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
He's one of the more popping gangster rappers that have come on the scene in the last couple of years. And he's like, yeah, people see the big paydays, but they don't see the 50, 60K overhead where I'm putting guys in hotels, I'm paying rent.
Yeah.
Guys want clothes. I'm getting cool clothes. They want the clothes too. And all of a sudden, this huge rap deal that on paper, oh, I'm a millionaire now, I'm getting dwindled down the toilet. And I think that's something where especially guys from the street struggle with, because then you have all these random guys hanging on where, well, I was in the studio with you when you recorded Don't Like. And it was like, you were smoking weed with us and eating the food we had in the studio, but you didn't write a melody. You didn't help me with a bar. You just were kind of a fan, which is really important. Like you were in my music videos. Like I had a squad behind me. That's important. But
now they'll say you switched up if you're telling them that.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest trap of the hood too with someone that becomes successful is there's so much more responsibility that they feel like they have that drains the bucket.
And then everybody around you still doing like crimes and shit, so they drag you down. Like, say like you're a big rapper, and then like your peoples or somebody dies, then like you might be like, all right, I'm grown now and I have money. Like, we're just gonna take this L and just move on. But everybody else is in your ear, like, man, hell no, fuck that. We need this and that. We need to put money on his head and shit like that. So it's just hard. This is like this all the time.
And that's happening a lot in rap news right now.
Yeah.
In Memphis, there's a big case with the young Dolph death.
Oh yeah, what's the latest there?
I'm not too keen on all of the details, but basically, I think someone put 100 on a rival rapper's head, only paid the guy like $800, and the guy did it the day before his daughter's birthday party so he could have gifts for his daughter. Only got paid like $800 and then never saw the rest of it. And then, of course, he snitched on the guy that hired him, and it's a whole house of cards. And that's what I noticed too. I don't know if we need to go down this rabbit hole, but culturally, I feel like the squads that have the best structure are the Mexican gangs. I feel like
definitely they're the most loyal and and they work the hardest too.
There's more of a hierarchy where if you like, hey, I need to get approval for this. I can't get out of line. I can get beaten down if I step out of line. Like there seems to be a little bit more of a process to their game.
Definitely.
So you think that if it has to exist, that would be the way for it to exist?
If there has to be a gang, that it has some sort of structure.
Yeah.
Well, it's a double-edged sword. Here's something to think about. We're talking to a guy, one of the Flores twins, who he helped bring down El Chapo.
He's coming in here. Yeah.
So here's what happens, and you've seen this with gangs in Chicago, all over the country. When you take out the leader, now all of a sudden there's fractions, factions infighting. So was it better to have one powerhouse leader leading a cohesive gang, or is it better to have, look at Sinaloa, is it better to have 2-3 factions fighting tremendously within each other? And like on the law enforcement side, it's like, well, we can't just not get the leaders if we get the opportunity. But then the aftermath of, instead of having gangs like Bloods, Crips, Gangster Disciples that are pretty, there's a few teams on the football field. Now you have all these tiny little cliques of 5 guys, 6 guys. They're all shooting. It's a free-for-all, and now it's even more reckless and dangerous. Would it have been better just to have a few teams on the field rather than
devil you know versus the devil you don't?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it relates to everything. You look at world leaders and stuff like that. Like, look at some of the people we've taken out Like Saddam Hussein was a very bad guy. There's no doubt about that.
And then we destabilize a region.
We destabilized the entire region, the whole country too, as well. Like, I will say objectively, after him, it's worse. You know what I mean? Which is like a crazy thing to think about. But it's like, you know, you see a regime doing horrible things to people. You want to make it better, but are you going to be able to find a solution there? You go see a gang. You see a gang leader who's taking fucking videos with Sean Penn and getting on the cover of Rolling Stone and bragging about all the shit he does and rolling heads in the street. But like, you know, if 5 heads are going to roll, you hate to say this, but that's better than 100 heads rolling. You know, so what are you going to do when you get rid of him? Now the El Mayo thing, that's another one. It's like, all right, well, now he's gone. He was like the grandfather in the hills with the cartels. Who's fucking replacing him? You know, it's hard.
We're trying to get some different stories in Mexico, and probably the most likely cartel. It's like this is like saying Lord Voldemort's name. Like you don't even want to say some of their names.
Jalisco?
The new generation guys.
Yeah,
those guys are the most terrifying to
They're
me.
fucking
from
wild.
what I understand, but even within like a group that this is a traditional Sinaloa area, to know that they're infighting so hard that it's not even safe to go there. It's once you open up Pandora's box, you can't put it back in, and
you can't. It's crazy that country's right there, and we have like such crazy drug problems here that are stemming from there.
And then you have people that are pressing pills and giving them to people.
Yep.
Oh,
No, not me.
what's that song? Deborah song?
Deborah?
What's
That song you made?
Who's your
yeah.
favorite junkie?
Oh, yeah. What was that song you made? It was called Long Live Deborah or something like
Oh,
that. Yeah.
Punchmade has it's a artistic masterpiece called Long Live Deborah.
Long live Deborah.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Long Live Heather.
Oh, Heather.
Do you own all
That's
your own
it.
music?
Yeah, and I've never signed.
Okay.
No
so we
manager.
can play your music
Yeah.
technically here. We're good.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
can we pull up this song? What's it called?
This is the most egregious rap song I may have ever seen in my life. Long
Okay.
Live Heather.
The worst one you've ever seen.
Arguably.
That's saying something.
It's up there with Kim by Eminem.
Oh my God.
I know.
All right.
I
Is
think
this
I
it?
took it, the re-upload. You click on that one. I was just trolling this
The
video.
third one,
Third
the
one,
re-upload?
third one.
Yeah, hit that. All right, let's see what we got here. Where does that come from?
I was just trolling.
You just trolling.
Yeah.
All right, so none of that's like personal experience, but
Nah.
it's just fucking around.
That happens in life.
it's
though.
satire.
Yeah, it's trolling. But that type of stuff happens in Kentucky for sure.
Of course. Yeah, it happens all over the country now.
Yeah.
So but like, I think 2 things are happening right there. You're pointing out how sickly common this stuff is, while also like making a joke out of it too.
Yeah.
But it's pretty serious. A lot of people are losing.
serious.
I mean, I got a couple of prayer cards out there of friends who lost their lives to this stuff.
I hear you.
But you just view it as like,
Nah, it's not a joke to me. But then again, they shouldn't be taking pills.
But there's also a lot of people who they went and got their fucking arm fixed, you know, their broken arm fixed, and the idiot doctor gave them a prescription to whatever the fuck, and
So it starts at the doctor. Then we gotta get on the doctor's ass.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it starts with the companies above that as well. We talk about the Sacklers all the time here, and the legalized cartel that happens in this country for sure.
Yeah.
But like, there's a lot of, you know, and are there people who make one bad decision and it leads to, you know, being addicted? For sure, and I have empathy for that as well.
Me too.
But you know, do you ever worry about sending not necessarily the wrong message, but like the wrong tone with stuff if you're just trolling?
Yeah, that's why I took that shit down. I don't make music like that no more. That's why I say re-upload.
You actually took that song down.
Yeah, I took all that stuff like that down.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So something in you is like, all right, that's past the line.
Sometimes I just had to do it so I could go viral, and then you know, that was my.
So you knew that
right
because
there.
you did it because it would go viral.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Definitely.
But there's a certain niche of rap, and we saw this with Eminem, where you say the craziest thing you can, and it's kind of a comedy. It sounds serious, but it's also like you're sitting there in the studio with your friends, and after you say a bar, everyone's laughing and having a good time. Like it's a fucked up humor of a rap
Yes.
genre. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
I feel, and those songs are fun. Like I enjoy listening to something like that because I find it hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sings them too.
Yeah. I don't make
try to
music
do it
like
in his
that
voice.
anymore though.
What are you making now?
Just music about making money and stuff. Not like that's super trolly. Like
Yeah.
Like that stuff I don't really make no more.
But you're making money now investing. You were telling me off
I have
camera.
a couple businesses, yeah.
You got a couple businesses.
Yeah, I won't say on here. But
You
I
won't
do.
say them on here.
Yeah,
Are they above board?
No, it's just because I don't want my face. What does that mean above board?
Meaning, like, is it legal?
Oh yeah, they are. I swear to
Okay,
God.
all right.
It's just my face can't be in the businesses.
Can we talk generally about
Yeah.
real estate? We don't have to say the LLC and where
Yeah.
it's
Well, I don't
located.
do real estate yet. I'm getting into that, but I
You
have
should
another.
learn from this guy. He's pretty
Yeah.
fucking good.
Yeah, I'm getting into
So what generally, like, what
cars.
Cars.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
rental cars.
rental? That's a new one.
I have an
You know?
exotic car company, but I'm not gonna say what it is or what state.
You have an exotic car company, like, involving rentals? Or?
Yeah, like I rent out. Like I have a couple exotic cars that I rent out.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then on top of that, I'm trying to get into real estate too. Like I bought my own house, but I want to buy like Section 8 properties and Airbnbs and real
Right.
estate, yeah,
That's
and land and stuff like that. But
God ain't making any
I'm
more of it.
focusing, I'm focusing on this first, the cars, and then once I get that to where I want it to be, then I'll get into real estate next.
So do you view, like, you're kind of, because you're so young, like, and you've already been through a lot and everything, but you're kind of trying to live the American dream on the right side of history now? Meaning,
Yeah, because
like,
I mean, I feel like a lot of people that's super rich did not play by the rules. So I feel like I already had to do what I had to do. Now I can clean everything up and do
there's
things
some
the right way.
fairness in that. There's some fairness in that, for sure.
Yeah, I think in this country we really go after the street criminals, but then there's all these white collar criminals
Yes,
all over the place
so
that are
true.
doing much, as far as dollar amounts, way greater crimes and getting
is very
a
true.
fraction of the time. It is a weird
Or
stunted
no time.
system. Yeah.
Well, you can't get rich working a job. Or if everybody was a boss, then there'd be no workers. So
If everyone was a what?
a boss, then there would be no
Yeah.
workers. So it's like the boss kind of wants people to stay. I mean, the whole system. I feel like you're not gonna get rich working a job. You're just gonna,
Do you think it's set up to be that way to
yeah,
make
for
people?
sure. Yeah, definitely. Because if everybody was rich, then I mean, everybody was a boss, and we wouldn't have no workers.
I think it's who's willing to take a risk, because anyone can be an entrepreneur, anyone can start a deli or a gas station or a
Yeah.
wrap business, and it's who's willing to put themselves out there and take a risk, or who wants to just
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
And you have a very high risk tolerance, and that will be very useful in building.
Yeah,
real
but
businesses.
I take real good risk though. Like
What do you mean?
I wouldn't put my whole all my funds on the line or my whole freedom on the line for nothing. Like I think about what's the worst that can happen and make sure I'm okay with the worst happening before I do things.
We kind of got off this, but like, forget the scamming or the video with Tommy G and everything. But like after you get shot, like what did your family?
Well, I didn't get shot, but I shot
Wait,
somebody.
after
yeah.
the shooting, I'm sorry. Like what's your family saying to you? Like, chill or
Yeah, always.
yeah.
My mom sees nothing wrong with me completely deleting everything I ever did on the internet and just going to work at Walmart or just a job in general. I feel like that's a
So you
better
have
option.
this conversation with her still actively.
Yeah, it should be like, when you just gonna stop all this?
She doesn't like the investment side of things.
No, she does. She just don't like the rap and like the image and stuff because it just be dangerous.
Rapping is a pretty dangerous
Yeah.
profession.
It is, because now people come after you.
So would you say
Yeah.
you're a target? You're either very loved or you're the target.
Yeah, sometimes I'll go. A lot of actually hoods fuck with me and places I go, they'll fuck with me. But I feel like a lot of people think it's like GTA. Like they think like as soon as they kill me, like all the money they see on Instagram just drops out of my pockets and shit. Like they feel like I just carry that shit around everywhere. Like I'm just like, yeah. So it is. I'm a super
You got
target.
a few dollars on you.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a super target. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that's really the unfortunate thing that hasn't gone away, like within rap and hip hop, and particularly a lot of, even if guys like quote unquote make it out, you know, the streets still follow them, and we see it all the time. You know, we see guys get gunned down and things like that, and like obviously you have some level of paranoia with that, having concealed carry, always having it. You always have it on you, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
In those states.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even a street guy either though, so it's just like I just make money.
Right, but I'm saying you're now a part of the
Yeah, that
rap
culture, yeah,
community,
yeah,
100%. And so
definitely.
that's how it's all going to be treated that way, because people
Yeah.
are like, oh well, guess what? Tag, you're in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, our boy Brandon just had fucking 65 thrown at him by the worst shooters of all time. Thank God.
Because they don't be trying to hit stuff sometimes. They just want to send a message.
You think they were just
You think
sending
they
a message?
purposely
People
miss?
do that all the time. Yeah, they'd be like, they just
They
want to
did
send a
hit his
message.
producer though.
Yeah, but they missing 65 shots. You just want to just send a message. Like they be scared too. Like people who go on drills and stuff. They be scared too. Like they don't really want to kill nobody. They just want to just send a little message and then pretend like they was trying to kill them or something.
Like they're hard.
Yeah.
You know what?
A lot of people be scared. They don't want to do that shit.
A book written about, I want to remember the title correctly, but it was about the concept that in war times that a lot of men purposely miss, and that it was he documented it was on killing by,
Whoa.
and it was quite a theory that people they're so against taking human life that a lot of humans will compel themselves to miss in a situation.
Or they don't want to deal with the consequence. They just want to send a message. Like, yeah.
But don't you think these guys may have been paid by someone to try and send a message to Brandon and who he's with?
Nah, they wasn't paid. I don't think so. I don't really know too much about them, but I don't think so. I think
If they were
what I
paid,
heard
then
on the
they would've-
internet, I don't even want to. I don't know.
That was crazy though. For people out there, Brandon
Yeah, I feel like
Buckingham
it
has
was
a
probably
video
people
on
he was
this.
beefing with. Whoever he was with, it was probably somebody he was beefing with and pulled like.
But it scared me because like I'm friends with Brandon, I'm friends with Tommy, and like since we've been friends, like we always have this conversation on camera and off camera. Like, oh, some places you go, like they're doing hard hitting stories and like there's dangerous shit. And the one thing you guys have both always said to me is like you feel like you kind of have almost like a press agreement, like no touching, because that's Tommy G, that's Brandon Buckingham, they're here to do a story, they're not a part of this. But that facade comes down when 65 bullets are thrown at you, whether or not
they
they're trying
probably
to
didn't
send a
mean to hit
message.
him. No, they probably didn't mean to hit the cameraman and them, but
It's who they were with.
yeah, it's definitely who they're with. It would never happen to just him.
Right, but because they're with him, it's like they knew he was with them because they were on Instagram Live. I think that's how they found out. So they know Brandon Buckingham's there, and they're still throwing bullets. When you guys have always said to me, like, you know, there's an understanding when we're in there. Well, I would say the facade of that has to be down a little bit now because there was not an understanding that day.
I think it's about not interviewing rappers who are really hot in beef. It's just not
Or
working.
not in their own city, or because that's why it was in Chicago. So everything's right around the corner. So that's probably why.
But that's also where the story is, though, too. That's the thing. If he's going to go talk with them.
Yeah,
he's
it's just a
going to where the
risk, I
story
guess.
is.
Yeah.
It is a risk. That's why I got a lot of respect for what you do, but it's scary. You're trying to move to some investigative pieces, though, now. You've been doing Scientology.
It just seems a lot more fun. Like, 'cause the thing
Yeah.
I sometimes struggle with going to the hood is I have all these different subjects and questions I want to ask about, and I get 1 or 2 sentence responses sometimes where just nothing. Sometimes there's just a lack of curiosity that is frustrating to make a piece. Whereas if I'm bringing out an ex-Blackwater mercenary to show me tactical driving, how not to get kidnapped, how to shoot at targets, we can talk endlessly. We will talk for days on end until he boards his plane. I'll be talking to the guy and asking him questions. And so, and also I want to do more. We want to shine the light on things that are happening that, like Kenneth Copeland or Scientology. We want to do pieces that really bring a little bit of justice back to the world and expose just a little bit more what some of these people are doing.
Dev, did you see his Scientology video?
I did. I watch all Tommy G's videos.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really do.
Thank you, man.
So you just filmed that like 2 months ago, I think, right? Something like that?
That was a
2-3 months
crazy
ago?
one. I didn't even know what that was until I seen your video.
Scientology?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I didn't even know. That's when I started looking it up, and I think you put in your video where they said they believe in some shit where they throw the beans, and it was your video. I seen that in there, and then they were kicking you out, and they wasn't trying to talk to you. And
Yeah.
So you hadn't covered that before. You go down there with Aaron, Jenna Miscavige, and Mark Bunker, who've all been in here.
And then
And-
there's also a guy named Serge that we got to meet, Serge Del Mar.
Yeah, I don't know him, but yeah.
Man, some of the stuff that he said was so compelling in his story and points to the biggest thing about Scientology to me is, okay, if a consenting adult decides to join and give all their money away, I feel bad for them. But when kids are born into it, forced to work dozens of hours a week for free, treated like absolute crap, separated from their parents,
Yep.
that makes me like, that's when you want to put the gloves on and just go in there.
Who
and just-
came up with that? That's crazy.
L. Ron Hubbard, baby.
Guys, absolutely one of the most psychotic stories you'll ever hear. He was like the shittiest science fiction writer of all time. He would just write like, I don't know, like a version of Pulp Fiction that was terrible. These awful stories. I've never read them, but everyone says they're terrible. And then he ended up writing, I guess, like Dianetics, right? And coming up with the idea of Scientology. had obviously some brilliance in creating like a cult of authority around him, and then preyed on every human being's desire, which is like, you know, the ability to get wealth, the ability to be a part of something, and the ability to feel like they have something to look forward to in the afterlife.
They thought they were saving the world, so how would you not want to be part of the mission?
Right. And
Wait, so do they get rich when they?
No, they get poor. They get in debt massively.
A lot of them get poor, and then
And
you'll
who gets?
hear,
So the person at the top gets rich.
yeah, because they pay into it and everything. And then you'll hear about like the Tom Cruises and the Grant Cardones and the people who
They're in it too.
Oh yeah,
They're Scientologists.
Oh yeah, Grant Cardone's a Scientologist.
Dang, so they're evil finessers.
That's what I'm saying. Grant Cardone's gonna run for governor. I want to say in California, and I'm like, do we know what? Who? You weren't with me when I heard that. I forget if it's California or Florida. One of them, allegedly, is gonna be running for governor. And I'm like, how can you even get past the Scientology thing? Like the minute that comes up,
Oh, I
he
can't
better
wait to
be
see the
cooked.
debates.
He better be cooked. Yeah, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like people like
So
that will profit off of it.
Does he have kids?
Yeah.
He did the same thing. He put his kids into the Scientology.
No,
I don't know
because
that for
he
a
was a
fact.
businessman that joined Scientology.
Right.
So, and there's the celebrity sphere, they get to kind of do their normal thing and enjoy their life, and then they get treated like a VIP when they show up to
Yes.
Scientology.
Yes.
But then they have their worker bees who are every day doing hard labor, whether they're dry cleaning, they're putting concrete up, like pretty much every internal job that they don't have to hire a contractor for, they do free labor for.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's
They're basically
Scientology to use slaves, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So that's why. So he doesn't actually believe some knight came and threw beans in a volcano.
I don't know.
There's no
I
way
don't
they
think
actually
he
believe
did.
that. I
No.
think I was about to ask. There's definitely got to be something behind that. So
Well,
that's
the
what
other
it is.
thing
He wants
is
to
you
free
only
slaves.
learn that. You're only supposed to learn that information after you've been in for a long time and paid a lot of money. And so then you have
And they
this,
tell you that.
yes. So then you have
They
the sunk
imprison
cost
people.
fallacy where you've already invested tens of thousands of dollars. You've already given up your entire family circle and only people you know are in Scientology. And then you learn this information and it might be disappointing, but you're already so far deep that you probably don't want to get out for the most part.
The guy who's been in charge of Scientology since L. Ron Hubbard died is this very short guy named David Miscavige.
Very short.
And so that's since like 1986. His niece, Jenna, who was in the video with Tommy, who I did a podcast with, she was born into their Sea Org because her parents are obviously like the brother and brother-in-law of David Miscavige, which means that's like literally like in the cult of the cult, like you're basically living in your own world. Like it's enclosed, they're shut out. Like she knew who the president of the United States was, but didn't know like what the importance of that was or anything like that. And she lived the first 21 years of her life in this. And then, you know, it's like very hard to disconnect.
In the building?
Basically, yeah. And then, you know, she found her way out of it, and she basically, it was like being born again. Like she came into a world and she's like, wow, like what is all this shit? And they, you know, have tried to slander her and a lot of other things as well, and they ruined her life. But like you see the brainwashing that happens and the lack of choice she had over anything she did and the bullshit that they fed her. And it is impossible to not feel terrible because she's not dumb. She's born into it. Like,
How
what
is
the
it
fuck else
legal?
is she supposed to do? It? That's what I asked, dude. How the fuck is it legal?
Is it because the higher ups are in it too, huh?
Well, it's that, and also they have, like, Mark Bunker can talk to this a lot because he's spent his whole life like trying to document it. But you know, they find loopholes with the IRS. They're declared like a religious organization. There's been
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Damn, they're super scamming.
They're super scamming. Yeah, they're the real scammers. They're like
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, they're the next level scamming. But you guys, like, so you went and like crashed the headquarters and everything. Like, how was that?
There's no conversations to be had. It's just they kind of, hey, get out, you're trespassing. I wish I was a little less juvenile with them, and I wish I asked them a little more hard-hitting things at that time, but I knew there was no real conversation that would be generated from them, so it didn't matter what I said to them. But the most interesting part, I think, was getting to get their top flight security that guarded the Celebrity Center, because they're kind of the equivalent of the CIA for Scientology. Right. And they even got a little handsy.
They got handsy.
They were kind of pushing me out of the fence, and I pushed them back, and I was expecting a loss. I was wondering if a lawsuit was going to happen. But I think for a lot of these cults, a lawsuit is bad because now all of a sudden you have to air out all your dirty laundry in the eyes of court. There's investigations. So it's better just to be silent than it is to go after someone now.
What their main headquarters is in Clearwater, Florida, and one of the things they do that is, I mean, it's sinister, but it's kind of brilliant. Like, is they buy up all the real estate around where they are, and it just stays empty. So they basically create their own little ghost town there.
It's like North Korea.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I never knew about none of this till your video.
Oh, it's nuts, man.
They need to make a movie on it.
They made a movie that's like kind of based on it that doesn't directly like go at it.
What's
called
that?
The Master. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix, and I think it's been a while since I've seen it. Philip Seymour Hoffman is supposed to be like L. Ron Hubbard.
That's a good.
So who would
casting.
you rather be taken down? Like, you know how like all the rappers and gangs get Ricos? Would you rather them, or would you rather the Scientologists? get
Scientologists.
Ricos?
Yeah,
by
for
a lot.
sure. Easy.
So how
By
are
a
they
lot.
still getting away with everything then?
It's about who you know and back.
I guess they're doing it the right year.
Yeah.
They have enough resources to have a powerful front in court. And I think the religious shield helps them quite a bit as well. But I was just reading about a cult in Spindale, North Carolina, about an hour away from Charlotte. A lady named Jane Whaley, Word of Fellowship Church. It makes me so mad when some of the things that they do to people there. But like documented child abuse, documented slave labor, documented manipulation, control, and somehow the authorities know about it. The sheriffs know about it, and for some reason,
Well, it's because of religion. So you can do whatever you want as long as you just say it's a religion.
it seems like that sometimes.
Do you think there's more there though? Blackmail, things like that.
Well, I think a lot of it is happening behind closed doors, and I think they're so good at controlling people that if one person escapes to say something, they have 20 members that they've already prepared
Yep.
their story on.
They torture.
He's a liar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they torture these people like in Scientology when they leave. I mean, there's campaigns against them like you wouldn't believe.
They have people showing
This
up to
is
their
crazy.
house. They have people.
I'm gonna look into
they
it.
hire private investigators to tail people.
Yep.
I'm gonna look into that.
Yeah, it's dark, man. I mean, we've done 4 in here, and there's one like, so when Ron and Jenna were here, they were here for a couple days. First day I recorded with Ron. He's he was basically born.
Aaron, you call him?
Yeah.
Okay.
You never saw that?
No, but I like that.
On his videos, because he starts off the video with the Key and Peele skit. Like that's his tagline, like Ron. But he was here. We recorded one day, and then the next day they came back, and I did the episode with Jenna. But I don't know if you've run into stuff. When we finished recording with Aaron, someone had put a New York Scientology brochure below my mailbox downstairs. And I'm like, God damn.
So
Now-
they're following them?
Yeah. That's what I think.
Jeez.
I've never seen that before. It was below. It wasn't in my
So-
mailbox. It was below it.
So when they're born into it and they go in a new world, what's different to them?
Well, they're fucked up. And I don't say that as a slight. At
Like,
all.
what do they believe? Like, how they fucked
They got to
up?
imagine you got to rewire everything you've ever known about, like the axis of what it means to be here. They
You know the
basically have
Truman
to do
Show
that.
with Jim
Yeah,
Carrey?
yep. That's how I
He
describe
lives
it.
entirely in this own little bubble, and then he discovers there's an outside world, and there's an overwhelming sense of,
Freedom?
but also,
Oh, they think
what have
that
I
is
missed
freedom?
out on this whole time, and what's really out there, and what's really real? Because if this wasn't real, my entire life wasn't real so far.
Yep.
What can I trust anymore? What can I believe in anymore?
Damn.
I think the Truman Show, actually, and I don't think there's ever been anything said about this. If there has, correct us in the comments. I think the Truman Show has some undertones of like a little shot at stuff like Scientology, for sure. Because basically it's the idea just all the way. Tommy just explained it. But like he was in a TV show and he didn't know it. He was everyone around him was a character, and he was being filmed from birth. They wanted to film someone from birth going through life. They had hidden cameras like in his medicine cabinet and shit, so people around the world were watching him on a live stream his entire life, and he never knew it. And it's like you live in a separate universe, and you're unaware, and that's how, like, when you talk with like Jenna, who's born in the highest levels of it, and spends 21 years there, and she's indoctrinated by literally the leadership because it's her family. You know, I would just have, as we were talking, I just had all these questions that would pop up, like, oh, what do you know about math, or like random shit, because they had an enclosed environment that was, like silent torture in a way. It's crazy.
Do they listen to music?
That was another question I asked her. I was like, what? I don't even remember what she said. I'm like, what did you know about music? Like, what did you listen to or whatever? But I can't remember if she knew any mainstream stuff or if they had like
Scientology artists.
random. I can't remember. I can't even remember. There were so many things. I would just come up with something and be like, what about this or what about that? And she would sit there and really think about it. Like, oh no, I didn't.
That's
guess I
actually
learned that
crazy.
later. Yeah.
Can you imagine that they don't have access to Punchmade dev music in
They
Scientology?
They
we
can't.
we have to liberate these people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're doing. We're putting Punchmade dev music in there.
In the
They'll learn
Scientology buildings?
Yeah, they'll learn about the real world. They'll be like, what is this fentanyl crisis? I learned it from Punchmade dev.
Facts.
Where do you want to be in 10 years, Dev?
I'm gonna be off the internet, and I'm just gonna be super wealthy and helping out the world.
Do you view success, or not success, do you view happiness in life as equated to wealth?
Nah,
You don't.
but it's fun to have it. But no, you
So
just gotta
what-
have a family, live comfortably, and take care of the people you love and around you.
Do you want to have a big family?
Yeah, decently sized,
How many kids do you think you want to have?
like 2 or 3. What about you?
We might have one more.
What about you?
I want to have several.
Okay,
Yeah.
like a lot.
Not
Like 10?
not like 6, but you know, maybe like 4. I think that'd be
Yeah.
cool. My future wife will probably have to figure that one out, but you know,
Yeah,
it's a
I mean-
conversation.
yeah. I don't think wealth. It's just fun to chase, though. I mean, you gotta do something. So I mean, it's just fun to try to get it. It's like a video game.
Would you want your kids to do any of the stuff that you allegedly have done?
Nah, they won't have to because I'm gonna put them in position. I already took the risk for us.
When you say put them in position, meaning like set them up already so they don't have to work, or
Nah. Like I'll teach them the skills I learned that nobody else taught me, and teach them how to be their own like entrepreneur and do whatever they want to do.
from a business perspective?
Yeah, business for sure. That's what I'm trying to move into is business.
I hope you do that. Seriously,
Thank you.
I hope all those other days are behind you.
Definitely. I wish I could just transfer all that to just being like just have a whole bunch of businesses. It'll feel much better, and I could just walk around in a suit all day.
Yeah. As
And I
I'm
gotta be a rapper or nothing no more.
as I'm talking to you and we're picking up on these little things, like when you did some of this stuff, what happened, what's happened since, kind of where you're at now, even like taking down some old music and stuff like that. I think there's some stuff that seems to be a step in the right direction, some self-awearness there. I hope that keeps happening for you though.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot behind the scenes that I be doing, and you would think I'm taking a bunch of steps.
Okay. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
sure. To be continued, I guess, right?
Yeah.
All right. Tommy G, thanks as always, brother, for coming through.
Gang, baby.
Dev, thanks for going through everything today, man.
Yeah.
I
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having me.
Of course. And once again, you're teaching people how not to scam.
Yeah. Fraud prevention.
Fraud prevention.
How to not how to scam. How to not get scammed. Yeah.
Right.
How to be safe in this evil world we live in.
Right. So he's on the side of the light now, people. That's why we're talking to him here.
Thank you
So,
for your service, Dev.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Anytime.
I appreciate that. We'll put your guys' Instagrams down there below. Let me know if there's other stuff, links you want down there. And
Appreciate it.
do this again sometime, boys.
Definitely.
All right. Everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Thank you guys for watching the episode. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. They're both a huge, huge help. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram and X, those links are in my description below.